All right, I would like to do a sound check. Sound check. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? All right. Good to see you. Good to see you. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season. I see somebody did. Oh, our regular guest speaker, Davina, had a happy holiday. I'm so happy to hear that. Now, you guys, listen up. I got some good stuff here. You're gonna have to hold on a minute because I'm mixing a couple of things up. All right, how y'all doing tonight? Welcome to Hard Truth Thursday Night Live. You know how we do it. Time to talk about a little bit of everything. Even though I have this on the screen, that's not where I want to start out tonight. All right, so we're gonna do our thing like this then. I want to start out talking about finances, and then we'll roll it around to some of the things that we talked about in the live. How y'all doing tonight? Everybody doing all right? Anybody else have a good time? Shout out to Susan Gardner for being first, right? Good to see you. I think you had another one up there, and then I couldn't see the message, so it popped back up. All right. Shout out to Autumn. Who else I can see? Annie Ruler, Ola. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Let's get started. See if I can see a little better here. All right. Good to see everybody. I hope you're having a safe holiday season. All right. Share this tab instead. I want to start with this article here, and it is by ABC, and it's basically saying Idaho College murder strained town financially as investigation expenses mount. Okay, you remember when we were talking about that natural gas link, the state of emergency, and how they were saying they were going to, redirect funds. They're just grabbing money from anywhere. Okay, well, this is just an extension of that. Okay, it costs a lot of money to have a trial, especially a big trial like this one. And so I don't understand, why they didn't count the costs, before they jumped out there. Because guess what? You know, it's you should have seen some of this coming. I mean, can they afford to have a trial? I'm just wondering because I mean the money problem seems to be escalating. Maybe not necessarily just from the trial, but from people, taking. And so, I mean, I'm just wondering if the state of Idaho is going to be able to afford to have a trial. Because I mean, everybody's money grabbing. Did anybody hear about hear about I can't even think of what I was getting ready to say. Oh, the judge. That's right. Let me see. Let me give Les a shout out. Shout out to uh my good friend Les. All right. Thank you for everything. All the gifts and things from yesterday in the membership only live. I appreciate that. All right, we appreciate it. All right. Oh, it was great. Davino, thank you very much for asking. I had a very, very relaxed, chill time. I guess I would say that. All right. Okay, let me jump back to where I was right quick, and then I'll go back to where I can actually see the chat. All right. This is just complaining about the money, and at the same time, I wanted to mention where Judge was saying he was going to allow the cameras, but it's gonna be on his channel or whatever. And I thought, what in the world? What in the world? So, I mean, it's like the money leaks, the money problems, however you want to describe it over there, are escalating. And I think that's a bigger handwriting on the wall than even the case itself that's causing this. I mean, they paid $14,100 to fly Brian Kohlberger from Pennsylvania to Idaho. They didn't have to do it that way. And Pennsylvania paid for that. All right? Pennsylvania paid for that. And so then they were saying maybe Idaho was going to pay them back. And then another state also had a grand jury trial, a little trial for him when the parents had to go. So this costs money in a lot of different places. And I'm just wondering, can they afford the trial? If everybody's, maybe the judge is saying, this is how I have to get my money because y'all might not be able to pay me. I don't want to have, 200 hours on the punch card, the time card. And then when it's time to get paid, you can only give me, 140 of it. You're on your last leg, as a business. That's not my problem, So, I mean, times have changed. You think you have an annuity. You think you have some kind of, IRA or something, and it's guaranteed to kick you back. Times have changed. You used to be able to trust it, stuff like that. But I don't understand that. Most of the state million went to consultants, like to see names of the consultants, Fry, Tullis, and Green. Annie, I'm not really sure about that. You're probably right. I don't know. What I'm saying is, I'm sure that some percentage of it went to the consultants, but some of it, went to the laundry room. Because whenever you moving millions, anything above millions, somebody's gonna want to reach their hand in there, and take something they figure you're not gonna miss. You're not paying attention anyway. You understand? So that's why, I mean, the financial aspect of this, I think they're gonna have more problems with this than anything else. Okay, because this is when people start saying they can't pay you on time and stuff. That's when it gets, nasty. People start cutting side deals and stuff or whatever. As soon as your money start getting funny, as soon as it's not looking like it's been looking exactly the same before, people start saying, "Oh, that shit's sinking" or whatever. Just what it is, and sometimes that's not what it is. It's just a phase, I guess. But it's gonna cost money to the state. These states need to start having some different how do you say it? Holdings. They need to start having some holdings, aside from what they use, the channels they usually go through for funding. They need to have some holdings. That's just my opinion, more than what's going on here, because it's not good. All right, Davina, I think you should have the trial in Pennsylvania because Pennsylvania is a very wealthy state. I agree 100% for several reasons. Number one, Pennsylvania can afford to do a decent job. Like he's saying, they can handle it, and the money that they do get from, the tabloid industry and stuff like that, they'll put it to good use. They'll even be philanthropic with some of it. But I also think it should be in Pennsylvania because that's where they went and got him from. He didn't live in Pullman or Pennsylvania, but they went and got him from Pennsylvania. So if I was his mom, I'm going to say, you came and got him out of my house, so try him right here where I can see it. That's what I would say. You came and took him out of my house here in Pennsylvania. So I have to agree with that one. It's a lack of funds can make things a lot harder than what they have to be in any situation. And for them to just keep, squeaking like this, like that, like something is running dry, you know, it's just kind of astounding because this is a state and federal level case, everybody's involved. And Idaho was like, we don't have money. And as long as they crime victim like that, they're going to keep getting money from places, I don't know. But the judge, that solidified it for me. Yep. I think they're telling the truth. You know, yep, you're right again, Davina. I think some of it also gone to the building fund. Yeah, you're right. You're right because what they paid, I think 7.2 million for the police station, and they only had six, I think 6 million, but it cost seven. It ran up over seven. I think 7.2. So that was a debt right there. So you're absolutely right. Okay, um, you're absolutely right. I think that this is where the whole let me say it like this. Somebody said, whatever you compromise to keep, you lose. So whenever you holding on to something, when you really should be giving it the freedom to come and go and make a choice, you compromising it. And so when you compromise in a criminal case like this, it comes back to you just like anything else. These financial holes, that can eat away at the case through morale and everything else. Just like a good lawyer, over there giving them the business, it don't have to always be that way. If it wasn't meant for you to be doing what you're doing, if it wasn't meant for you to, if it was meant for you to be doing what you were doing, you wouldn't, all these things wouldn't be happening to stop you from trying somebody for the crime. But I mean, they're not having good luck over there, and you have to look at that. Yeah, I see. Oh, let's see. All right, so let me throw out the link here. I know Robin had something she wanted to show. She'll probably pop up later. I'm gonna put my invites out, and anybody that's want to come and speak on this particular topic here or something else you may have discovered, you're welcome to do so. Yeah, it's been about greed. It's pretty much been about greed, I mean, money is the root, the love of money is the root of all evil. And I think another thing that's happening in Idaho, especially, is that a lot of people that were promised a big payout for being involved in this case are finding out that it's not going to be that big money cow that they thought, that the momentum has slowed down and the prosecution can't seem to keep dropping enough stuff that got a little heat on it to keep it going. And so people are saying, hey, just like people are dumping their stories, stuff they were saving for court, they're dumping it. You see, they're dumping it because they know they ain't gonna get nothing at all. It's not, if it's worth $5 today, it's not gonna be worth anything by May at the rate the case is going. So they're dumping their stories, and then people feel like they're not gonna get paid, or they're gonna have to wait a long time for it. They change their attitudes towards you, whether they've been supporting you or not. Right? Okay, we got our regular guest speaker. This is Davina, the Italian. Oh, I almost missed y'all.
Baby, it's cold outside.
It's gonna get colder too.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. How you doing?
How you doing? Happy holidays, sir.
You too. Buona vacanze. Buona vacanze. You too.
All right, all right. What's going on? Are these people just money grabbing over there, or what?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I read something really interesting on YouTube, and it was a heck of a synopsis of how this all timeline, how this all ties in with this case. And I got to find it, but it was actually I took a couple of screenshots of it, but a lot of it made sense. A lot of things I didn't even think about. I don't want to get off topic here because I know you're following a certain protocol which you have planned for the night. But I guess when we get to that point, I guess I'll talk a little bit more about it.
No, just go ahead.
Well, basically, it just said that basically with they showed some video footage. There was that white truck was there going by that night, which was Rosenthal's truck. The black truck was in the background. Those people in the background, those 4 to 5 people coming from that direction of the house. But they also said that they believe that Kay had a relationship with one of the officers. A very short, which I believe. And basically, they're the ones that actually probably physically that did this. Which in a way it would make sense because if you see them around, no one's going to even suspect those guys of anything. Like, well, they were in the area. Oh, they were just doing their job. You can't prove anything. But a lot of it just made sense, and it was all tied into the D word, what it was all about. Maybe the M and D had an argument about her boyfriend. I think his name was Quinn, who drove that big black truck that was in the background that night. That didn't want that type of product or stuff inside the house. And I think that maybe that she definitely, one of them did, flush whatever, a certain huge amount of product or money that gone down the drain. So a lot of all this ties into that really. But and basically that whole inner circle, when it all comes up, it all kind of all forms into one, which it all centers around the product or the D word. Yeah.
Right. That does make a lot of sense. And I just really felt like that was the rift between Kaylee or KG and Jack. That's the vibe I got from him. That
right. They were talking about that too. Yeah. They were saying that they think the reason why when she was trying to call him, she broke up with him before that. And I guess she was trying to maybe tell him she was sorry or something like that. She kept calling, but I don't know if I believe all that. Because the way those type of calls like that, it just seems like it was very desperate and in a very emergency manner. That she was like, like having someone. Why don't you just call her father? What? I mean, I don't know. Well, then again, he's 90 miles away. But there's just so many holes to this case. Because the weirdest thing when they were talking about B, and she said she got home at 1 o'clock in the morning, but then she told the detectives or the officers that she saw E and X over there still at the house at 1:45. So how could she see them at 1:45 if she was home at 1 a.m.?
Right.
Then she kept changing the stories. Just like when whatchamacallit said she was on the first floor, then she winds up on the second floor. They think that what might have happened is whatever they heard the whole thing and she might have gone down the stairs into what's her name's room because they just couldn't take the screaming. God knows what was going on with all the mayhem and the havoc. Yeah,
but well, let's back up to the first one you said. Yeah. You said, why didn't Kaylee just call her father?
Yeah.
That's a great question. I mean, if you're in distress, and I personally believe that Jack broke up with her, because if she broke up with him, when she came back to town, he probably would have gave her a little plate. She was coming through. He probably would have gave her 5 years. Come on. He would have gave her a little play. I think he is the one that broke up with her because of his body language at the corner club and just his absence in the pictures at the house. Even before they broke up, we should see some pictures of him there with her before they broke up. And we don't,
Right.
So,
and
all the pictures of him, it's not at that house.
Right. And which was really interesting in this thing, I'll have to find it. I'll have to send it to you. But they were talking about that they believe that B was the one who opened up the front door and the perpetrators came through the front door and she did when she let them in. I don't think she expected for that to happen unless she did. I don't know what the case was. But that's why they think that the front door was open. That's their on it. But I don't know if that's true. But it could be. It's possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
But why would you walk up the front like that with the lights on like that? That just doesn't make sense.
I don't think that Dylan would have been able to leave her room and go
Right.
down to Bethany's room once the intruders were in the house, and something. I mean, for her to even want to leave out of her room and run, something had to already be going on. I don't think I mean, if they were in Ethan and Xana's room and in that hallway, they would have seen her going down those stairs, and then they would have. I mean, she wouldn't have been able to just be moving around in the house. They just want us to believe too much. They want
Right.
us to believe too much. We
Right.
have to. They told us they were asleep. We had
Right.
a hard time believing that, but we took that because we could. You can't mess with that. I was asleep. You
Right.
can't mess with that. That's how I know Brian Koberger turned off his phone, because
Right.
any fool would say I was home asleep. As long as your phone wasn't moving, who can challenge that? Nobody. But he turned it
Right.
off once he got in his car and went down the street a little bit. That was a mistake. But
Right.
but these girls, they could have kept using that unless they're in the same boat as him and their phones say something else.
Mm-hmm. Well, what also was interesting when she was talking about how she saw the perpetrator in the dark, whatever it was, and she said he was dressed in black, he had a mask on. She never mentioned about any body fluid on his clothes, or didn't even mention about even seeing a weapon. Usually in a situation like that, I mean, that's like the first thing you're not going to so much focus on the eyebrows. You're going to think, oh my God, he's got one sharp weapon there. He's got something that you just will not forget either. They thought that was kind of strange as well, which I definitely agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I think this guy broke up with her, and I think that his friends, probably whatever she was doing, going with the policeman or whatever, you
Yep.
could tell she was a little fast, and so I mean that makes sense to me, because that's the vibe that I get from all of them. But like I was saying with DM and BF, well, whoever came in there and did it, it's almost impossible to eliminate these two as co-conspirators or somebody that's covering it up. Almost impossible. And I just really don't understand why. Les, you might as well come on up. I'll throw out the link for you. I think we got some people that's just not in the chat, but you might as well come on up, Les, if you want to. I'm gonna hold out for Robin. Davina, you still there?
I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
You're not there? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking that the corruption is coming out. Really, it's getting ready to really come out in Moscow.
Well, yeah, I think this is all around the D word, and I think that those four knew that the LE was all involved in the D business, and they knew too much, and I think maybe two were either going to them or going to try to turn them, whatever the case was, or they already gone, and they found. I mean, if that isn't a motive right there, I don't know what is.
Right.
Hey, I'm
right.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We got Les in the house. What's going
Yes,
on,
I
Les?
am. Just listening and, just listen, hanging out. I've been looking forward to this all day.
Right. Me too. What do you think
It's,
about did you hear any of the
I was listening at the
conversation?
same time. I was thinking about it just being like a money-making thing, but I really don't have any insight into that. That kind of stuff is always news to me, how that works. I mean, I knew that they were given $1 million. Sounds like they didn't need it because they had Brian's name right away.
Right.
But I mean,
Right.
yeah, that's about it. I mean, I know that this trial, if they're ever going to do it, and all these ridiculous motions causing all kind of money grabbing.
Well, here's a good comment from Annie. Ruler Scott Green's wealth increased $1 billion or more in the last year or two. That is a large sum. What is Scott G selling?
He's selling Bitcoin.
Yeah, he's selling something because guess
Mhm.
what? That's what I'm saying. This is what these people are dealing with these days, billions. That's why I'm shocked when I start hearing that organizations are fighting over a few $1,000,000 because you really
That's
don't see
nothing.
it.
Yeah,
You
that's
really don't.
nothing.
They pay people off that kind of money for foolishness. And so
Hmm.
if individuals are billionaires now in the numbers, then what do you think these organizations are walking around with? You know, let me
Yeah.
hold on. I wanted to read a little bit of this right here. I don't know if y'all can see it good enough on the screen, but it says a quadruple homicide
He didn't see
rocked
his
the
last name.
quiet Idaho College hamlet of Moscow last year, but the financial repercussions are only now coming into focus. It was a tragic and horrible event that no one saw coming. Moscow Mayor Art Vitej, I guess, a difficult 6 months. It says the city's already slim budget is straining under the weight of the investigation's mounting expenses. Even before the
Hmm.
killing, the police department alone cost 7.2 million. Moscow officials told ABC News several $100,000 more than the 6.9 million in property taxes brought in, police and city officials said. And I thought it was less than that. I thought there was more of a gap. I thought it was like
You, you
6.1.
know, you know
But
what's so weird is that every time on the interview her parents, the G family, I don't see much emotion on their faces. Now, if that were my mom, if my mom was in that interview, she would be bawling her eyes out every time my name even came up or whatever happened. I mean, I just don't understand that how you could just sit there like that and just that's a little strange to me.
yeah.
Well, I
All right,
think
we got
that
hello, Robin
Rob.
Latham in the house. Shout out to
Hey,
Robin
Robin.
Latham.
I mean, it happened a year ago. So I mean, if it happened to like
Yeah.
10 years, I can understand, but that's just very bizarre to me.
Well,
Which case? What are we talking about? I
Hmm.
missed that. I'm sorry.
No, I was just talking about like when the interviews with the G family, and like I
Oh,
don't see much emotion on their faces every time they say, they talk about their like the mother doesn't show any like it's just no tears are coming down her eyes. Or if that was my mother, she'd have tears coming down her eyes all the time talking about it. Like I just don't understand. Like I don't get it. I mean, it happened a year ago. It wasn't like it happened a decade ago. That's a little
right,
strange to me, and it really
right,
is because my mom. I mean, she would be like, she would show it right there, right on the screen. She wouldn't hide it
right,
because
right.
that's your child.
Well, she cried one time that I saw,
One
and
time, one time. You're right.
it's
Yeah,
she did. I would give her credit. She did cry one time,
yeah,
and she was, I felt her pain. I don't doubt that,
yeah.
the initial shock of it and stuff affected them, but at the same time, I think everyone was somewhat surprised at how they just jumped out and just became America's, you know,
Yeah,
family of the victim.
yeah.
Y'all know I
I,
have a different view on that. I have a whole different view on that
okay.
because not everybody knows. My daughter wasn't murdered brutally, but she was because she was given something that she didn't know she was taking and she died. I was like the poster mom to go around to rehabs and talk to people and talk to young people about that. And I did that for the first couple of years before I ever cried in public. Sometimes you just do what you got to do the right thing. And I think that their parents are trying to do the right thing. Again, this didn't happen the way it happened to them, but I get mad when people like give the parents a hard time. They're on a camera, they're expected to act a certain way.
I don't know.
Just
I mean,
saying.
I see your point to a certain degree, but to me, that family, and I'm a pretty good judge of character. I mean, you could judge me all you want here, but when I see that family, I just think of the word cult. I don't know why, but that's what comes off to me when I see that when I see those people on camera, whether they're acting or they're not. There's something very bizarre and not normal with that family. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Well, you're not the only person that has said that, though.
Because I mean, I just like I'm looking at that guy. to me, he had a heck of a relationship with her. I don't know what that was about. It's just something that I feel, I sense. I don't know. It's just there's just something not right. That there's a gap between those two, and then of course the other one, you said that wasn't getting the attention, and they kind of like disown her in a way, and there's just strange things about that family that just don't make sense.
You're not the only person that has said that. And I want to be respectful. I'm not.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
But at the same time, when you put yourself out in the public, I like that when you don't have to, and when you keep having these conversations, people are going to scrutinize it. And, somebody was telling me, well, I knew about the daughter on the side, which I didn't know about until recently, but I felt like the family deserved privacy. And I was thinking if she wanted privacy, she wouldn't be reading her diary to the public on TikTok. I mean, if she wanted privacy, it's not like I went and found it, hacked into something and found it and read it. She put it out there herself. So, I mean, what am I supposed to do? She, that's the thing. That's the thing that a lot of people don't get about the G's. Most people want privacy after they lose a child.
They want to be in the public eye.
Like you were saying about your mom, you can watch a movie about kids and start crying,
Yeah, it's in a heartbeat. Yeah.
And that can last for a long time. And, I'm not trying to figure out if they are done grieving or not. I'm just saying it is a weird vibe,
It's a weird vibe, and it almost seems to me like, we've had this discussion before, and I just said to you, like, it's okay, it happens, but let's move on with our lives. I mean, no disrespect to anybody on this, but that's the feeling that I get. That's the feeling I get from the whole school now. It's like, okay, they're gone, no disrespect again. Now we just need to go on our lives, and like, it's kind of messed up.
Yeah. Well, it's a money grab right now.
It is. Because it is. It's all about greed.
University of Idaho was just in a talk, I think, to buy University of Phoenix. And now we're talking about how grim their balance sheet looks. Their balance sheet does not look grim. We looked at their financial statement for 2023, and it looks like it always looks like they're reporting the bare minimum, probably less than the bare minimum. That's what it looks like. So I'm just saying they don't have the money problems that they say that they're having. They're not doing that, and it's gonna be a money grab. I wouldn't be surprised if they told Brian Kohlberger to just sit it out. They're gonna let him out, but just sit it out through all of this.
That's what I was thinking. The same thing. Yep.
Say it. I feel like that because he's sitting there mighty comfortable, coming out smiling and laughing like it's a joke. That's not normal.
Right. Maybe they already have possibly who beyond him, and then they're just playing the part. I don't know. It's a possibility.
Yeah, but this is the mistake that these defense teams make when they waive that speedy trial, because you're giving the prosecution time to fix some of this mess. Look at how messy it is now financially. Look how messy it is now with the evidence. The DNA is garbage. I mean, she could have won just off of that. But I think it's a money grab. But they're milking a clock, and they don't even know if they're going to get all their money, because, the state can say they don't have it, when it's time to pay, and cut a deal, take this or whatever, and walk with it. And what are they going to do but take it?
See, I wish that, I know, and don't call me sick here, but I would really like to see the photos inside the house of that day. I know, don't call me like, sick here, but because what baffles me is the cleanup. Did someone really clean up before they got in there? Because the way they described that scene looked like a massacre throughout the entire house. Yeah. Then you hear otherwise that it was cleaned up. They found the one footprint, and then whatchamacallit's connection over there with the cleaning crew, they go and clean up. It's like, that's what I don't understand. Was it really cleaned up? Was the scene absolutely, a disaster when they walked in, because from what they said, that it was something that they'd never seen in their life. So that's one thing that baffles me, about that entire cleanup too.
But what baffles me is, as soon as they finally did call the police and they roped it off, the press took pictures. They were there on it like flies. And there was no blood on the front door or the back. They had that front door open wide enough where you could see in a little bit. There was no blood there where somebody was trying to leave in a hurry and, maybe some blood from the jacket or whatever might spray on the wall. Nothing.
Yeah.
And nothing on if she claimed, Dylan claimed that the person walked out of Xana and Ethan's room or that direction, passed her, went in the kitchen. So he didn't stop in the bathroom and wash his hands. It should have been something on that door.
Exactly. That's what, exactly. Tons.
So I just, somebody had to clean, unless Dylan and Bethany did it and just took a shower.
That's another thing I was leaning towards too, because everybody's thinking, "Oh no, that couldn't have been them." Man. Well, you don't know that for sure. Was there snow on the ground that night when those murders took place? Was there snow on the ground around that house anywhere? Because I thought there was around by the deck or something, or on that hill. Because I'm thinking, if that was the case, how could that not be? They couldn't find that in the snow. They would be everywhere.
That night, I don't think it did. I think it snowed right after it happened.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then I think whoever did this, I don't know, did they know that, or what? It just taking a shower and it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it's hard not to eliminate these survivors. I'm gonna just say survivors. It's hard to eliminate them from knowing, regardless of who did it, whether it was Brian Kohlberger, whether it was, regardless if they were in the house. It's just impossible for them not to know who did it and how it happened. It's just not possible. Yeah. I don't see how it's possible, especially when the story keeps changing. It wasn't believable, the first one, and then the more they tell us, the less believable it is.
That's horrible it is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want to believe that you slept through somebody screaming right there in your own house. I don't care how many stories it is.
But 4 people?
Yeah.
I mean, and if they were only screaming, then it could have been the perpetrators that were screaming when they were carrying out the attacks.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that is like, like when you're in someone's in martial arts class, and every time when they're throwing a punch or throwing a kick or a block, and they're saying, whatever they're saying, it's coming out with authority. Well, it would be no different than if you had a, whatever type of weapon in your hand like that. That's going to come out, especially if it was rage, if it was vindictive, if it was heinous, if they hated these people, that's going to come out.
Yeah. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Alice there. Good to see you. Good to see you. And I also want to, Robin's going to come on. I got some pictures she wants to show.
Yeah, come on.
All right. Good to see you, Alice there. And then I wanted to read this comment. All right. Welcome, Robin Latham.
Hi.
Ma'am.
Hi there.
Let me find your picture right quick. Hold on.
Hi, Robin. How are you?
Hi, Davino.
How you doing?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Robin, sing a song. Let me see if I can hear you.
No. You don't want to hear that.
Come on, it's the holidays. Come on.
No, I can't.
Oh, the weather outside is right. Okay, good.
You're wrong for that one. Listen, I'm going to I found your picture. I'm buffering at the moment, but Robin had an epiphany after destroying her Thanksgiving dinner, and so we're going to get some insight into the knife and see what you think.
Mm-hmm. Oh, can I ask a question first before we go into that?
Okay, I have the picture up I think that's as big as I can make it.
Is that a stove or a burner or something?
I
That's
know.
a knife. And the first picture is a knife
Right.
that I stabbed myself with on Thanksgiving.
Isn't that
And-
nice? Wow.
But as soon as I did it, while the knife was still sticking in my hand, I had this like
Jeez.
this epiphany about the case that we're talking about. It just hit me like it was a knife wound, and what happened when it didn't just go straight in and out, right?
Right.
So I had the knife in my left hand. I was picking up the turkey tray out of the refrigerator, and it slipped out of my left hand, which was the hand the knife was in, which flipped around the knife, and it stabbed straight into the palm of my hand.
Mm.
And so I looked over and I was like, but as I was doing that, as I was slipping from the grip of the turkey tray then hit the knife while it was in my hand and whitened up the wound and made it look different than just the regular knife wound. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden I'm sitting there going, whoa. So when whoever got stabbed, if they would have pushed the blade to the left or right, it would have opened up the wound and it would have made it appear to maybe be a different weapon, because it looked totally different from just the slice that it had made in my hand. It kind of opened it up and made it look like a gouge or something else. And so anyway, it just came to me. I was like, wow, so that could happen. And it could be the same weapon, but it could look totally different. But I don't know if they know. I mean, I'm sure that law enforcement is aware of that or whatever, but I'm not always sure that you could tell the difference between a wound that was made from a separate weapon or not in that case. I don't know. It was just a question that hit me when it happened to me. And it also bled a lot. So I don't know how they could say that stab wounds don't necessarily bleed a lot.
Yeah.
Mine bled everywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because I opened up the wound by the pan falling on the knife or what, but it did bleed a lot. For my little hand and that little wound, it was nonstop bleeding everywhere. And I had to go put something on it real quick. But so I thought those two things were interesting.
Yeah.
Just in trying to understand these knife wounds, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because you don't get stabbed by a knife every day, and if you don't get stabbed by a knife, you don't really understand what can happen. And even though it was a small wound that I got, it completely made me understand about knife wounds at this point, kind of, what they could do or what they're capable of doing in different ways that might look like a different weapon or not, or whatever,
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
That lets you know just how much blood was probably in that house after for
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Well, that's the other thing I was thinking. Like, I mean, I had to mop up my kitchen floor practically because I couldn't let go of the turkey and let it fall on the ground. And it was a big mess. And so, of course, my hand was secondary because I had like 7 people here. So I had to like get together. And I didn't want to get blood on the turkey.
You're going like Chinese or something. There you go.
Yeah. In the meantime, it's like trying to keep the blood away from the turkey and all that.
Yeah.
So it was really, I didn't get to mend or to put a bandage on my hand for a minute or so.
Yeah, that's
so
a
there
thing.
was a lot of blood for a little tiny wound.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Yeah,
there must have been a ton of blood in that house. There's just no.
Yeah, exactly. And like what they said,
had open wounds like that. I mean, if Kaylee had that many stab wounds, that room alone must have been soaked. And if you're telling me that knife sheath didn't get a thing of blood on it, I don't believe it.
Yeah,
I just don't believe it. Then otherwise, I don't even get that.
Yeah.
I just think it was mayhem. That's all I think. I just think they were just running for their lives. That's what I think. I mean, forgive me for saying that, but
I think it was loud and I think it was bloody. I don't care
Oh,
what
yeah.
anybody says. There was a
It
lot
was
of noise and there was a lot of blood. And,
everywhere.
and
Yeah.
yeah, there's just no way. In
Yeah,
I
order
just don't
for
see
a
how they
ring
could ever
cam
do
that's
that.
50 yards away to pick it up, then you know something happened inside the house. If a ring cam's picking it up that far away,
Right.
then something's going on in the house that you can definitely hear.
Right.
I mean,
But
come
and
on, you know.
yeah. I mean, if you come into a Lumira or something like that, even after you clean it up, I mean, you're still going to be able to find it. I mean, it's just like I can only imagine how much that house glowed from
Yeah.
whatever they sprayed in. I can't imagine.
They use amino black,
There you go. Yeah.
and then they use amino black for that footprint. Like even
Right.
in your house, Robin, no matter how good you cleaned up that blood, if they came
Right.
Yeah,
now, they could find some of that blood
right.
that you feel. You know.
Yeah. There's
Gotcha.
always going to be an area they missed or something. Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot that they missed. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, so when they say a latent print, is that saying that there weren't any other footprints in the house?
Yeah, what
How
does
does
that mean?
how does a person come out of one of those bedrooms, even with booties on, and not leave any footprints? How do you only? Is that what they're saying?
Right. Right. This is what I'm saying. You There's no way to eliminate DM and BF from knowing exactly what happened, even down to where even if they did it, I can't say that they did it for sure. You know, but I'm just saying you can't
Well,
eliminate them because of the amount of blood. There's no way that
well,
you
Hmm.
didn't
yeah,
know.
because when they said
Smell
one latent
the blood.
print, I was like, was that one latent print and a bunch of regular prints? Because I mean, how there's no carpet in there, so
but
how
see,
do
you make a
you?
good point because that morning when they called all their friends over, if they were in that house, could you imagine how much blood would have been on their shoes or anything coming out of that house? They would have had blood all over them walking through
Hey, you're
that house
right.
if it was that messy.
Nobody ever talks about that, and you're right. The
Yeah,
people that came in and ran around there, why didn't they look at their
yeah,
shoes and oh, that must have been a mess.
yeah. That
But I
must have
mean,
been yeah.
if the blood was contained to the bedrooms because
Mhm.
that's where they were killed, I don't know. But I do know that they did an awful lot of forensic work there in that room that is
Hmm.
the living room or whatever, the kitchen area.
Right,
They were in there for a long time, so it made me wonder if somebody was actually killed there and taken into another room
right.
or
Hmm.
taken in back into their bedroom or whatever. And I didn't mean to say the K word. Sorry, Arthur. But so I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know really what happened, but it's hard to believe that there'd be one latent print out of everything. I'm like,
Plus,
what are you talking about?
Right.
plus all that cast
Like,
off. Yeah.
what's in it? It's BK. What did he do? Fly out of there? I mean,
Yeah,
he
it just
had to
doesn't make
hit the
sense.
ground at some point.
This is what
Right.
I'm saying.
He had to
Right.
moonwalk out of there.
Well,
I don't get it.
that's what I'm
I mean,
saying
how
because yeah,
I don't
yeah,
get how a latent print just means they didn't clean up well enough, or
Yeah.
how come you can find 9 latent prints? I don't.
but
I mean,
that's what makes
what?
no sense. Yeah,
And that makes me feel like the police were involved because
yeah,
if they were if footprints were cleaned up and they had to be, if they found one, there had to be others.
yep.
Exactly.
Unless he hopped around on one foot.
Exactly.
So
That's what I'm saying.
they
I
found
don't
one
even know
problem.
why they
But
would say that.
they would have found more if they didn't have help cleaning up. They would have found more than one. But because they
But
only
Right.
and left that one latent print, whoever did clean up, they knew what they were doing. And I don't think that was DM and Bethany. I think that was
right,
whoever did it.
But
but
how do you get out of the upstairs
that's what we're
blood bath
saying.
and
That's
then
what we're
come
saying.
downstairs to
Yeah,
another room
yeah.
to take care of those people without leaving footprints on the way down the stairs? And then
What if you're
and
wearing
then so then and then after that second set of people that you take care of, how do you get out of the house without without leaving footprints there? So wouldn't it be like all the way down the stairs, plus a little bit of hallway upstairs on the third floor, and then all the way across the room to Xana's room, and then all the way out the door. No footprints? No, none? As the perpetrator? None?
Your
I don't-
feet would be covered.
Come on, man. You'd be dripping in it.
And if
You
you
would
if it was done on the inside, like I said this before, that's a whole different scenario because now it with all the other people that were in that house that morning or all the partying going on, whatever the case is, it's all going to be the whole scene was contaminated.
Contaminated.
So now it's all blended in and mixed up. So now
I don't even know how they expect a jury to believe that it wasn't contaminated. I don't understand that. And that right there creates something. It
Yeah,
may not be
absolutely.
enough reasonable doubt, but it's enough in that one category. And then you add on a couple more categories of reasonable doubt, and you're screwed. Is how I'm looking at it. I don't really get it, really.
Yeah.
The way
Yeah,
I
there's no
understand,
question. Yeah.
the way I understand what was explained to me about the latent footprint was that obviously, no, maybe I'm repeating what you guys said. I'm just trying to make it clear for me, but it means that it wasn't visible to the naked eye, which is proof that somebody did a cleanup, which is proof that Dylan and Bethany should be charged with something or have been, come on.
Right. For not calling the
That's a
police,
latent
for one.
Right. Hey, Davina, I wanted to ask you, are you like in law enforcement? Because I know you have
No.
some knowledge. Oh,
Where did that even
thought
come
you-
from?
I completely thought you were. I'm so sorry. I thought you knew some things about crime scene. I've heard you say things that I didn't know until you said it.
Yeah,
so
I
that's
mean,
what
I
thought.
have friends that are like in high places and that stuff like that. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, but we don't sit down and have conversations like that. No.
Well, that's why I wanted to ask you what you thought about the latent footprint, if that's exactly what that meant. Because I thought.
Well, like I think Les hit it on the head right there. But again, the mystery to the whole thing is like there's no footprints supposedly leading out inside to the house or no leading outside. If those people were in there that morning with all that blood in that house, they would like their feet would have been covered. Okay, shoes, barefoot, I don't care, socks, whatever the case is. Yeah, the hazmat suit, you'd still be covered in all that blood. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And that's what they never talk about. And like that's what Les said. They never even bring it up. Like, well, okay, they were in there. Why didn't they track any blood coming out of the house or something? Or it's just bizarre.
It's impossible. It's impossible.
I would have threw my sneakers out there in the case. Yeah,
That's the smell of the blood.
yeah, all that sulfur. Yeah, that fresh sulfur smell. It was still. Forget. I'm not trying to be graphic. Wet, sticky, not dry.
Yeah, ruler, that's amazing.
It's pungent. It's so pungent. If you ever been around it, it's not pleasant. And most people can pass out from that stuff. It's nasty.
All right. Shout out to Stack. Got a good comment.
good.
Don't forget all the stinky digestive fluids and etc. If they
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
heard nothing, you would smell.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
You know.
But if you open the door, but it was 28 degrees that night. That's below freezing.
You know,
That was brutal.
even leaving the door open,
Yeah, that draft coming in like that. Oh my God.
that probably, slowed down the
Yeah.
body, deteriorating.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
other than that-
Rigor mortis setting in. Yeah.
But the smell of blood, I'm telling you, that's just a little bit of blood. Just imagine the smell, and then for them to tell us that these kids were in their house, and all the way up until the 911 call, they were semi-aware that somebody had been stabbed. They need to stop telling me that because I think it's insulting our intelligence. I'm not trying to
Definitely.
get paid.
If there was a camera outside of that house that heard things, which it's on the PCA that it was heard, whether we've actually heard it or not, there's no way
Right.
those girls didn't hear it. That's just
Exactly.
ridiculous. Like, what's your IQ? 2? I
Because
mean,
even if Maddie, I think was asleep, but even if Kaylee wasn't asleep, no doubt she screamed something before, even a few times while getting stabbed. Then if they heard something downstairs, or even if it happened vice versa, there were people awake when it happened, and people that didn't survive that were awake when it happened, and there's no way they went silently. There's no
in
way.
the PCA, Dylan heard a whimper, but she didn't hear a yell or a scream.
Come on. I mean, it's not possible. It's just not plausible to me. I don't know.
It's not
I
possible.
screamed louder when there was an earthquake or when the dog's barking. And don't tell me, and people in my whole apartment complex heard me. So
Right.
I know there's no way that nobody, her room is just too close. And plus that, Maddie's room is directly above her room.
Right.
So we had two chances to hear noise. And
No
I don't know.
carpet. That's a lot of stomping around.
No kidding. Yeah.
Stomping around and just yelling, and I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and I can
Not
you
to
can
mention,
imagine.
didn't the person doing the stabbing, were they doing 53 stab wounds silently? I would think somebody'd be going, whatever.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Silently and in under a minute. Don't forget.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
And then they want us to believe that the people that were in there doing this were just talking calmly, talking about
Yeah.
I'm going to help you and all this. You know,
I mean, if
everything's
you're
so
that
quiet and
mad that
calm.
you're going to stab somebody 50 times, you're making noise.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
You're,
yeah.
I mean, it's like, you're grunting or something.
And not only that,
You're
but
not-
you just stab. You're not even if it's even looking where you're stabbing. So it's like, I mean,
I mean, like chopping wood, when I chop wood, I go, I mean, because I'm trying to put extra force into it. It's like hitting a tennis ball. When you hit the ball, you hear all of them go, every time because you do.
maybe a lot
I
of
don't know.
screaming on that. A couple screams at least for a couple seconds, and then whatever happened
Right.
after that. But I don't know how the hell you could not hear something like that. And I'm not just talking one person. I'm talking
It's
all the other
impossible.
three as well.
It's impossible. Yeah.
Especially X, if she was fighting this whoever that she was fighting off, she would be screaming out of her mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It probably was
I'm
too.
sure Ethan did.
Yeah,
I'm sure Ethan-
anybody would be. I mean,
Yeah.
you every time something is
Yeah,
piercing
one out of
you,
the four had to be
yeah,
right. Yeah.
slashing
There's
you,
just
whatever,
no way.
you're gonna be, yeah.
I want to sway the conversation to something we were talking about in the Members Only Live. It's this movie, Nearly Normal Family, where this girl
Mhm.
Stella lures this man. I'm not gonna play the little clip right now, but what she was 15,
Yeah,
15.
she was 15 and he was like a camp counselor, so he was over 18 for sure. I think he was in his 20s.
Yeah, he looked like he was in his 20s. And then she, cried rape or whatever, but she really, to me, she orchestrated it all. Is bad to say, but I guess you have to look at the
No,
movie and give your own
I
opinion.
agree.
But
I agree.
I just don't feel like, it was rape. I hate to say that. 'Cause I already know people that say, but
Not a
that,
big fan of that word, but yeah.
it's just, only so far you should be able to play somebody that close, and people have anger management issues and stuff. I was thinking about Dylan and Bethany, when they were that age, I wonder what they were like because Stella
Right.
did whatever she wanted to do. So when she was getting into all of these messes, just pulling men out the club, a young girl pulling men out of the club. I mean, that's
But yeah,
heavy, that's pretty heavy, And so I just wondered, a lot of people try to put BF and Brian Koberger together. That would have been, like the same kind of age difference or a little bit more.
Right.
And
Mhm.
what I was saying is, just because I don't feel like they were his type, they might have been going after him, because
Mhm.
Right.
they could. These young girls, I mean, they're going with older men,
They're
getting
doing crazy stuff.
like sugar babies. There you go.
Yeah, sugar babies and OnlyFans and all that goes
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, and they both had cars too. And the weirdest thing is they each had a car. But
Did they? I didn't know that.
yeah, they each had a car. And the thing is, because Dylan was in one of her pictures showing she's posing by her car. But the strangest thing is that morning, the only cars that were in that parking lot were the Unalives, not their car.
Right.
That is bizarre. Where were their cars?
Yeah, and we were trying to struggle to, prove did they have a car or not and stuff. But I believe they did, especially Bethany. There's no
Well,
way. I just
Well,
know.
Bethany got pulled over, got a traffic ticket earlier
yeah.
in the year, so you know she had had a car anyway at some
Mhm.
point.
Well, they're hiding it as good as best they can. But any information on those two. But if they were in Pullman driving around, these young girls could be fast, or think they're fast anyway, looking for somebody in the, older.
Yeah.
And
If you
so,
guys remember that first TikTok that came out, I think where they were like pretending to be each other and it was like cute and funny. I thought I
right,
Yeah.
remembered I thought I remembered Maddie impersonating Dylan running off going, "Could somebody give me a ride to school? I'm late." Do y'all remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
I
yeah.
do.
So
I
I
don't
don't know
think
about
Dylan
Dylan.
drove. I'm not sure if he drove, but I know Bethany did at one time, unless she got her license suspended or something. But I don't think Dylan drove. I think whenever she was in a car, it was with her boyfriend or her
Yeah.
dad
Well,
in that
Joyce's
truck
twin
or whatever.
had a black truck. I know that.
Some
Yeah.
people are saying that both of them had a car.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what they said. They said, and that's the mystery. The whole thing. Where were their cars that morning? Because they weren't even there on the lot.
Right.
Where did they
It's
park
just
them?
making it worse for them. That's just one more thing
Yeah.
to make it worse to where you cannot eliminate these girls. And so then we get to the place where, you have to let justice take its course.
Right,
It's not up to
right.
us to cover up for whoever did it. I hate to see that it ended up being these two, but if they did, they need to stand trial.
Well,
Before.
there's a
I agree.
reason that letter says we promise we won't arrest you if you
Yeah,
come
what's
back to
that about?
Moscow. So
Right.
if
Yeah.
that's the case, then they were looking at arresting them for something,
You
or they
see,
could if they wanted to.
you
So
see,
what's up with that? You know, they're
you
so afraid to come back because they were going to get arrested, and the cops had to assure them that they're not going to arrest them. Then they're doing that for a reason. Now it's they're giving them, they're giving them immunity for some reason or
I hope
whatever.
not.
They need their testimony so bad that they won't arrest them, but they're telling them they won't arrest them for a reason. So obviously, what is that?
yeah.
I don't know.
We
I
get
don't
ready
know.
to have a big mess. It's already a mess. We get ready to have a real big mess, because they get ready. They're already fighting over money over there. The prosecution's case is just, it's lacking, to say the least. And so, I mean, this is going to turn into a bigger and bigger mess. And I just don't know what the way out is going to be for them at that point, because
Well, yeah, they're gonna get caught up in all this stuff at some point.
it's going to take. That's why I say he'd probably be in there for 4 or 5 years before he even goes to trial. If if,
Exactly.
if he goes to trial, because they're not organized at all over there, and it might be too much
I
for the
would
administration. Back in the
I
day,
would really hate it if those girls got immunity.
were
I'm
good
sorry,
at
go
their
ahead.
job, but now, you know, they're not doing. They don't know how. A lot of people have jobs. They don't know how to do the job. They just have it.
Hmm.
Maybe they knew somebody. I don't know. But since I've been here where I live now, I have seen people have jobs with a
You
computer that
ready? Ready,
don't know how to
sir?
use a computer.
I was gonna let it cook for a little bit.
So I can just imagine what the administrative processes are over there right now if it's just
Hmm.
rules that they have in money problems. Because they just built the police station and then it says here that's the biggest part of the budget, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look
And
again.
for what? The police, they don't even take reports half the time.
Okay, it says yeah, I think it's hold on. Talking about Moscow is not awash in funding excess. We run a very, very lean budget, and the impact of the
Hmm.
investigation has been felt on the budget. The bottom line is the ongoing cost of the killings, that's how they said it, of the killings, has burned through cash that could have gone to benefit the community and fix up infrastructure. Now, see, I would be, I was one of the parents. Now, me and him, we would be in court for him even writing that. First of all, don't
Mhm.
refer to my
No
kids
kidding.
as
I agree.
things.
Oh, that makes me so mad. Yeah.
Don't say that. And then
I
after
know.
that, they're complaining about having to pay for the
Yeah.
the massacre. Never mind
Ridiculous.
that your legal sectors was supposed to prevent that from happening. You
Yeah.
bumped it, and now
Good Lord.
it's almost like you blaming the families that their kids are costing them money.
Wait till
Exactly.
Mr. G drops that lawsuit, and then they're really going to be crying about something.
Yeah, he probably already dropped it. He probably
Maybe
already
they need to go borrow some money from the president of the university. Seems to be
Yeah.
related.
It said the
Mhm.
ongoing cost of the killings has burned through cash.
I can't believe they're putting it that way. The
That's
killing.
horrible.
ABC
That's
News.
horrible.
That is insane. They
Here,
shouldn't have worded it like that. That's horrible.
It's like, damn them kids for
News.
getting themselves killed. Dang.
No kidding.
Terrible.
That's sickening.
And then they said, I mean, look how they're. Well, this is where Mr. G and his wife come in. Now if you carry yourself a certain way, that's how people are gonna treat you. And they've been, camera hopping for a minute, saying some controversial things, and
Yeah.
people judge their emotional responses to things. And so now when it comes down to dealing with their kids, look how they're talking, look how they handle that, how they're managing it, with disdain almost, like
Yeah.
this is a problem that's costing us money. They're not even giving
That's
them respect.
horrible.
Idaho 4 or something like that. They say the killing. That's pretty rough.
Why don't they blame it on the litigation? Why don't they blame it on that? Why don't they blame it on whatever, That's
Well,
ridiculous.
They
well,
spend their money on the wrong thing.
they saying the ongoing costs. So they
Yeah,
saying
they're trying to say, well, if he doesn't take a plea, then that's gonna even cost him more money. It's like, well, Constitution rules over that. So what are you saying? I mean, I don't know.
well,
That's why I think that he's so famous for giving plea deals, Santa, because that's what he does. He gives plea deals so they can get out of the money, out of the owing money,
paying for a
spending
trial.
money. Yeah.
Well, they can't get out of this one. They're gonna have to go the distance because
I hope not.
I feel like Koberger might fold. If I feel like he might fold if he gets a guilty verdict. Okay, and he knows he got to go down the appeal road. But
Right.
other than that, he's trying his luck. Whether he did it or not, he's trying his luck. Maybe I get off. So that's
I
how I
would
see
hope at this point in time he doesn't take a plea after all this has been said and done. You've gone quite the distance so far. And
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did take a plea.
I would.
I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, listen
After
to this. It
after
says,
waiving his speedy trial, yeah.
yeah, well, and he was okay with it. What did he say, Robin? Absolutely. When the judge asked,
Absolutely. I almost fainted.
he said, absolutely.
Absolutely. Like, oh yeah. It's all fun and games here.
You sit really close, Roy.
I'm thinking,
You're
what will they do?
wrong. He said absolutely like that. He was
Yeah.
like,
I mean, I was
absolutely.
just like, gosh, how can you be so gung ho, dude? I would have been mad.
Listen, he said, we weren't prepared. We weren't prepared for this. This is such a horrific thing. How
Oh
could
my
you
God.
plan for this? And then he said, you budget for fires, you budget for
Oh,
floods,
good
you
Lord.
prepare for natural disasters. This was not natural. The cost
They,
is astronomical. And of course, you can't skim on keeping people safe. Yet this is just not something you budget for because it's something you never dreamed could happen. That's
Right.
a whole talk of, I don't want to be
malarkey?
vulgar.
Malarkey.
I don't want to be vulgar,
Yeah,
but you're telling me
exactly.
you don't budget for. You mean to tell me you don't budget for murders? For you built a brand new police department, so evidently
No.
you feel that you need some type of protection in your city, but you mean to tell me that's as far as it goes as far as money? You don't plan to actually have to solve some crimes?
Yeah,
That's basically what you're saying. You know, you just spent 7.2 mil to build a brand new building for your cops, you know, to prop their feet up and stuff. Okay. You claim you barely could afford that. And now you're
right.
saying you weren't prepared to actually have to use this building to solve some crimes. What did you think was gonna happen when they moved into the building? What were they gonna do? Play dominoes? You know, because I mean the purpose of that police building is to solve,
Exactly. Right.
you know,
Yeah, and so you
no
even have to classify it an emergency. Oh well, I mean, you gotta find the money somewhere.
no law enforcement agency is quote unquote prepared for, you know, any homicide. Who's ever prepared for a
What?
homicide? You know,
Yeah,
you're just kind of ignorant to me. But that
no
just
law
shows,
enforcement's prepared for a homicide. Then I guess you guys shouldn't be law enforcement. That's what I'm thinking.
well, I mean, it's epidemic. You get what you pay for. You understand? So
Right.
it's tax money paying them, and they figure they could be getting more. The people they chase on the street got more money than them. So I don't expect to get them make them play it straight all the time because I understand. You know, they're putting they're putting a lot out on the line, stepping out here with a gun, especially in some of these areas.
But it's not like some of them aren't taking some of that money on the street for themselves.
You
So
know,
don't even go there with me, because I'll tell you, I'm from LA and I know what they
yeah,
do.
the ones
I
that not
know what
locking,
they do.
they're coming in and out of the jail. They're not staying there really doing the time unless it's just something really ridiculous or they're just a habitual offender. But they're not really doing
I
that much of time. They let them out. You know,
me, when something like this happens that costs so much money, it just lends itself to exposing all these virtuous entities that are supposedly doing the right thing all the time, and they don't like it because it's getting closer and closer to showing that lots of money just disappears and doesn't go to where it's supposed to go. So when they start complaining about, we're not prepared, we're gonna spend all this money, and oh my God, what are we gonna do? It's because now you're gonna have to start answering to where did all the other money go? Because God knows you guys have had enough money from people's taxes and other things, other avenues you get money in, and money that you get from drug busts and all that stuff. And to me, they get nervous because it's gonna show where things haven't been done right, and they were supposed to have been done right in other areas. I don't know, it's just my opinion. But
right.
I'm from a big city, so that's how I feel, because I know it happens here. But
Listen to this. Owning and running a family business. We've always had our ups and downs. We've gone through 2 recessions, a pandemic, and now this unfortunate loss of life has caused the closest thing to the pandemic in terms of financial loss has been from these horrendous murders, Lopez told ABC News. His family moved to Moscow in 1994 and stayed for the vibrant culture and community atmosphere. They're gonna try to put something nice on the end, but
why they still have the same amount of students? What's the problem?
He said, listen, we've all had some connection with these students. They ventured into our businesses or they worked for us. We were all mourning, completely heartbroken. This town emptied out so quickly, nobody would go out. They were scared. We always been a very safe haven, and this really caused a major financial burden on every business in the area. You know, I'm just shocked and appalled that these people are sitting here saying these things. You know, God,
Right? It's
you
not
know,
like it didn't rebound. It's rebounded now, so oh well. Things
I mean,
happen. I mean, what are they
I,
talking about?
I don't know. Davina, you still with us? Where are you?
I'm just listening.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, jump in now. If
Robin,
you
Robin has the stage right now with the microphone.
oh,
No, no, go ahead.
Hey, mamma mia! My God, I'm just listening. No, it's interesting. That's good.
I'm just
But I mean,
saying.
didn't they say that enrollment was up this year?
What
Now
about that?
Say
Huh?
that.
the enrollment at the college was even up this year. So I mean,
What at the
they
college?
rebounded business, right?
Okay, well, he said everybody left though. He said everybody left, and everything is about money in these paragraphs. I'm shocked that they wrote this. I am.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
that's pretty
shocked that
bad.
they said, look how fast they're showing. They aren't studying about the victims' families. That's why I said they should get all they can from them because they owe them.
Ready.
You know, they don't care. They don't care.
But this is what I was talking about before. It's like to pretend like it never happened.
Yeah.
Right.
It
And
really is. I mean, if you read between the lines of that, of that letter or whatever, it's all right there in black and white. It's like, okay, well, I don't really know what you're talking about. It might have happened, it may not have happened, and this is where we're at today. That's basically what it's to sum it up. And forgive me for saying it doesn't seem like they even care.
they don't.
Right.
They don't
Well,
because
doesn't
That's
the town empty out in summer? They're not used to, like, the town empties out in summer, right?
right.
Isn't
Or
used to
some of
something
most
like
of them,
that
yeah,
happening?
you're right. Right.
So why aren't they used to that happening? I don't understand.
Well, didn't it also bring a lot of sickos coming through and making TikToks in front of the house? Like it brought
Yeah.
people there, like tourists.
Good point,
Yeah.
Les. They did that, yeah.
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 But it's
Now
pretty much
Yeah.
back to normal now, right?
Yeah, I had a question. When that retired detective was walking with his wife and he found that glove, was that glove any near symbolic to this case for any evidence? They never really talked about it too much after
I
that.
thought it was
They
on the
did,
front
yeah.
yard.
Yeah, it was, yeah. But did that have anything to do with whatever for the case?
No,
It's
it was
I
in the
one of
think
the
they
ones that
backyard.
was never done.
I think
they
it was in
didn't
the
test it.
backyard. Nancy Grace kept saying that it has nothing. He doesn't think that it has anything to do with the case. I just don't. I mean, you don't just dismiss evidence on the TV and we say, well, Nancy
Right.
Grace said it has everything to do with the case, so throw that off the list. You know,
Yeah.
they made a big deal about the glove in Brian Kohlberger's apartment, but we're not supposed to be concerned about a black glove on the property.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I thought that was one of the three male
It
unidentified
is.
DNAs. One of
It
them
is.
was in the glove.
All right, shout out
It
to
is.
Tammy.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, let's see what this is. She said, I've not been feeling well. Rather glad these electronics give us distance at times like these. Hope you're feeling perky.
Aw.
Hi, Tammy.
All right, okay. I am feeling perky, and I hope you do too. I hope you get better. You're gonna have to. Yeah. All right. Now, I am not. Well, I am shocked at how the focus has left Brian Kohlberger and the victims, and now it's we don't have money. We don't have money, and this is breaking us, and blah blah blah, which is a bunch of malarkey. But at the same
Yeah.
time, when you do it wrong, you should expect, when you're doing wrong. That makes me feel like this corruption is further down the drain than we realize. We're gonna be having all these problems for a natural gas, leak or explosion or whatever. If they actually had that, that's a bad sign. The Bible said, and when the curse comes, consider. When everything starts going wrong like that, it's for a reason. You need to look around and see who you need to throw out of the boat, because
Yeah.
when stuff like this, it happens for a reason.
Right.
They're
See
trying
ya,
to
Jonah. Get out.
Yeah, they gotta start looking in the mirror a little bit.
trying to convict this man of quadruple homicide, and at the same time screaming and hollering that they can't even afford to try the case. When
Right.
you ever
What
heard
is,
of something like that?
Yeah.
so what do they do if they run out of money trying the case? What happens? They're gonna find it somewhere.
They're gonna get it from Joe Biden.
Oh,
That's right.
God.
yes,
They're gonna get it
indeed.
from
You better hurry up before. Yeah.
They're gonna
They
get
better
it from
hurry up.
Kamala. Mm-hmm.
They better hurry up.
Yeah, they're gonna get it from Kamala and shoot.
Good luck.
No.
They better get it from Kamala because she running the numbers. Got a raffle. You know, I got a text one day saying, you know, you get if you donate, you get enter in for a chance to have breakfast with Vice President
Oh
Kamala
Oh,
Harris.
boy.
please.
And
Oh,
I
I'm
no.
was
gonna
like,
try to do that one. Yeah.
I was like,
start this month.
2024.
like, why would I let
No.
Kamala Harris hustle me? What reason? What would be the purpose? You know?
The only reason I let her hustle me is so I could tell her right where it's at.
2024. That's all I'm gonna say. But that's it. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go.
And I'm like, I say I pass.
Not
you know.
going there.
That is the funniest thing.
But that what goes around comes around, and
Yeah.
just when you're thinking big business or big organizations, big schools or whatever, just when you think they're so powerful and things can't happen,
Right.
look how some of these big companies fell over the past 10 years that you thought would be here until the end of time, you know? You know,
Yep.
they're
Yeah.
gone. They just all of a sudden, you know, and look how these billionaires getting scammed, you know? You see how smart billionaires, we could depend on them. We copied what they did. That's how much we trusted, you know, their wisdom. Nowadays, we got billionaires that's getting scammed. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's when you
Well,
know.
they scammed other people. That's how they became billionaires.
Maybe they need to call Elon Musk. Maybe he'll loan them a few bucks.
I mean, big scams. You
They
know,
should call Bill
Yeah.
Gates.
well,
Oh,
he got
God.
scammed too.
That man is something
What
about
goes
that.
around comes around, Bill Gates.
He got
That's right.
scammed.
The Lord's not sleeping. He works in mysterious ways. There you go. You got it.
All
Not
right,
on
let
Earth,
the
it's
church
in the
say
afterlife.
amen. All right, let's see what we got here.
I'm gonna get back in chat for a minute.
All
I don't know
right.
how to do that, but
I can take you down. Thank you so much, Miss Robin Latham, my good friend, my dear friend, and very important
thank you,
part of
Hardjuice.
our YouTube channel.
We
Hey,
love you,
Hardjuice, I
Robin.
just wanted to tell you that video that you made was quite the production. I loved it.
Oh, thank you so much.
It was so good. Must have
Oh,
taken you a minute.
all right. That sounds
But
good. That
thank you.
sounds good. I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, we love you.
I need to get up and make something, huh?
Oh, it's great.
All right, Miss
Make some
Robin.
banana bread. There you go. All right.
Okay,
All right.
I'll be in
cranberries.
chat.
All right. Okay, you should be back in the chat. I don't think y'all leave the chat. You just have another extension. All right. So where are we? Let me look on my list. Oh, I wanted to go back to speaking about the possibility of Brian knowing DM or Bethany. And
You think he did?
I'm thinking, you know, how is that possible? Because I'm going to tell you, I think this is the point Les made. It was either Les or Robin. This was fire. She
I
said,
was talking about the drugs, yeah.
she said when Ann Taylor made the statement about no connection, I believe it was that he said no connection to the victims.
Right.
She didn't say no connection to anybody in the house. She just said the victims. And so while we're going around saying, Ann Taylor cleared Brian Koberger from knowing anybody in the house, actually she said no connection to the victims.
She did.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean Bethany and
And
know,
it's possible that at that Halloween party that they all either met or they knew each other right there. Because I still believe whatever from that Halloween party, whatever happened over there, transpired to to the other lives.
you think so?
Yeah, there could have been a quarrel or some kind of things that could have something that could have escalated or gotten out of control, and a lot of people are not really talking about it too much. But that could have set it off right there, and it just escalated, into the final, you know,
Right.
ending,
Yeah.
pretty much. But it is a
Yes.
possibility. It really is because think about it. I mean, you got a crowd like that. Who knows what was going on? Who knows what took place? They don't really talk about that too much. That kind of has pretty much lied dormant.
Yeah.
I still think that could be a key part to this whole thing too.
Right. I think
I mean, around the drugs and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. And no, and just like they didn't have a clue when the police came to the house, they didn't know where they didn't know where anybody was.
Right.
Just like it happened just like that. You could say at the Halloween party, if God only knows who was in there, they wouldn't know, or be able to recall afterwards.
Right. Well, I talked to a buddy of mine, and as Robin was asking about law enforcement, and they just looked at the scene of
That
those
was
cars in
me.
the driveway, and they said you would have to be an idiot to go in there by yourself with 5 cars in the driveway. I mean, you'd just be out
Right.
of your mind. So
Right.
he believes that whoever did this was already hiding inside the house, and it was just the element of surprise.
Either that or they walk from the back,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true. In the
they're so
woods because
close
it was
together.
dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was dark. But I still believe whoever was in the back of that video when they were in Banfield, stopping those 3 guys, I do believe that they are definitely part of that, what took place that night.
Yep, absolutely.
Because they were all walking in sync. Well, actually, I wouldn't say walking. They were kind of walking fast. I wouldn't say they were running, but when they came onto the when the light shined on them, they looked like they were moving pretty swiftly.
They were tiptoeing through the tulips, Miss Joy.
They were tiptoe through the tulips, but yes, they were, and it looked like they were just walking very swiftly. They were. Yeah.
I don't think it might not be an accident that the policeman had his body cam filming that
Right.
stuff.
Right.
That may not have even been coincidence. He was filming the house. It was,
Yeah. Was right there.
and the fire hydrant where they
Yeah. Right.
be,
Yeah.
Maddie's coat.
Yeah, that's still bizarre. What was her coat doing there that night? That don't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
It was
All right.
cold as hell that night. It was like 28 something degrees. It was below freezing. I mean, you'd want to have a coat on. You would get deathly sick. You'd freeze.
You're right. I want to.
I mean, yeah.
Ed, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
You were singing so good.
Oh, I was just doing a little tiny tiptoe through the tulips.
Lord have mercy.
It's all good. Now I just come back to my normal voice. There you go.
Okay. All right. Now listen, I have a few cases here of women that were violent.
Right.
I think it's Eileen Warnos.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was by
yeah.
me. Yeah, yeah. That was in Daytona Beach.
6
And-
men. They say her victims are 6 men between 1989 and 1990.
Right. She picked them
Right.
up at the bars, and then she'd take them off into these rural areas and these backward Florida areas, and yeah. And they thought everything's going to go well. They had no idea that was the last time they would be alive. Yeah.
Okay, so it's possible for women, regardless
Yeah.
of the age, because I've seen them younger than DM and BF do it. Younger than that, and women do kill. Do you remember? It's just been a history of portraying women into
The Blue Eye Killer. I remember that one.
the who?
Mm.
The Blue Eye Killer, the one that her husband was so mentally abusive to her, or maybe physically abusive, and then she just couldn't take it anymore, and she just stabbed him like 140 something times.
Right,
Ooh.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a movie about it too, but yeah, I forget what state it took place in, but yeah, it was brutal, and she actually won the case because somehow because he was so brutal to her that it was they saw that I don't know, it was weird.
So how many people did she kill? One, just
Just one. She tied him up and on the bed and just stabbed the living heck out of him every place you could think of. Very, very brutal, just gruesome to the max.
Well, he should have gave her the money when she asked for it. He should have
Well,
gave her the
that
money.
was part of it
That
too.
was it.
He should
And he
have
was
gave her
like
the money.
he was hanging out with the strippers at the clubs and not
See?
paying attention to her. Oh yeah, it escalated to something. Like I said, you can't underestimate a woman because women are strong.
See? You see?
I know that firsthand.
Well,
I
that's
was
what
at class
happened
tonight. Yeah,
when you don't let go of the money. That's what happened. He should have just gave it to her, you know? When
yeah,
you see
but
somebody is greedy like that, you know, about money, they don't play about that money, you
Yeah,
know,
but that was his wife. That was her.
yeah,
That was her husband.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. She should. It don't matter because sometimes you could be the wife or the husband and still the other person won't give you what you know. It's not
Oh.
sharing.
when
I got you.
jealousy sets in and
That's
things
all
like
Yeah.
that with women, that can they come very aggressive, very strong. I mean and the strength that comes out of them it's really unbearable. It's the strength of a man.
Yeah, when they
Hell
get mad
hath no
enough,
fury.
that's all it takes. You know, look at here. Gwen Graham and Catherine Wood killed 5 patients that they know of.
Yeah.
You know, they did it together at the nursing home, hospital, or whatever. So you know, Griselda Blanco associated with more than 200 murders.
Yeah.
You know, but she went back to South America.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's true.
I mean, women do get violent just as much as men. It's just for different reasons.
I mean, it's possible that those two just decide to walk up to the 3rd floor and walk into that. They could have put the dog in the other room and just went medieval on both of them. And they said, you know what? We don't want any witnesses, so we're going to take out the other 2 as well. That is a strong possibility.
Okay, well, if that happened, one way or the other, it would have had to be some other people in there, and
Mhm.
they have to be complicit.
Right.
Everybody, if so many people have to be complicit, you know. This is the fear that I have because the media has thrown these kids away as far as trying to pretend or even
Mhm.
care about them.
That's what I was saying. Yep.
And their parents, and they should have been a rush to justice and a rush to everything before it got to this point. You know, you got to get yours early.
Mhm.
You know, you got to get yours early now because, you know, that reminds me, and this is totally off the subject. I'm sorry for breaking everybody's concentration, but when you go to get your Christmas tree and you wait, you know, once you get there, everybody else been there, you know, it's picked over. And so you have like a little Charlie Brown Christmas tree. You know how that
Leftovers.
is? So if you don't get your tree early, today is the 30th. If I don't go and get a Christmas tree tomorrow, by 3 days, all of the beautiful ones will be gone and everything else will look like trash. I just wanted to share that.
Okay, that makes
Thank you for
sense.
sharing that. That was very sweet and thoughtful.
I'm just thinking today is November the 30th. I had no idea.
And tomorrow's
I know it
December
happened
1st.
so fast.
Oh, I'm so glad somebody can help me.
3 weeks and 3 days to Christmas after tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh no, is it that? Is it that's all there is? Oh no.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. What were we talking about?
Well, just like the media basically threw the kids away. Before that, we were talking about Dylan and Bethany possibly having done this themselves.
Right. I'm
Yeah.
saying. Now, here's another reason why we cannot eliminate either one of them, and I just don't believe that they could have been in the house with unless they did it or they, you know, were going along with the other people. Is the fact that they're cooperating with the police. You don't have a reason to open your mouth to the police or get involved at all with law
To cover it.
enforcement
Yeah.
for a case that you have nothing to do with. And the first thing your lawyer is going to tell you is to keep your mouth shut. First thing your family is going to tell you on the phone is to keep your mouth shut. The first thing you should be doing if you go through something horrific like that and you had nothing to do with it, you should be running home to mommy and daddy anyway. And let them, and then they're gonna give you the game once you get there. But why are they cooperating with police?
I think that's just more evidence that this had a lot to do with the drugs. They're not going to run and tell their mom that it was due to their shady drug dealings or that there were drugs in the house. And, what do I do with these drugs before I call the police or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Like, they definitely had something to cover up, and that's why they didn't. They didn't call their parents or for advice or do anything. They called their friends.
Right. And like Davino pointed out earlier, Kaylee wasn't calling her people either. She was calling Jack.
Which was weird. Yeah.
On both of the phones, I believe that was her making her own calls on her own phone. And then
Yeah.
when she answered her, she got Maddie's phone and started calling.
Yep.
Because that era of desperation was there all the way back at the corner
I just don't know why she didn't call her father. I just don't get that one. That's just bizarre.
I think she was calling him. I think it was about to jump off. I really do, because the last call was at 2:52. And
Yeah,
what
it was
about the
on.
text message? What about the text message she sent? The text message was very calm. It was after all the calls. She texted and finally said, according to her sister, she said, come on, we do share a dog. Like, come on, answer the phone.
Did the sister add that later on?
No.
Was she saying that from the beginning about the text?
That's what I remember, yeah.
Okay, well, that fits the profile, because you can tell by the corner club who broke up with who. I'm just saying, in my opinion.
No, I get it.
In my opinion, a guy's not going to sit down in a chair and have the lady standing up, not even offering him a chair or whatever. If he had feelings for her, I don't think he could just be sitting down and just watch her standing there with nowhere to sit. I mean, Jen was giving off vibes all over the place that, he was done with Kaylee. And that he was mad that he had to be done with her. You know how you have to really just cut something loose, but you didn't want to do it. It hurts a little bit. You get mad because, this didn't even have to be like this right here. That's the vibe I'm getting from him. And so I'm not surprised he didn't answer the phone. But as far as his involvement, I did read a study where it said that usually when there's no sexual assault and something is violent like this with females, that it was the husband or the boyfriend.
I heard that too, yeah. I heard that just yesterday or today. I can't remember.
They were putting statistics into it. And so there had to be some kind of trend. And I don't know. I don't know if DM and BF would tell or try to cover for Jack D. I mean, do they know each other like that? I mean, maybe start going with one of them. I don't know.
I just wish that somebody would explain why he gave an alibi and it turned out not to be true, and why that just rolls away and nobody, okay. Why are people making a big deal about that?
I don't even know what alibi he said.
Well, he said he was home. He went home early. He was sleeping, and then somebody leaked a picture of him at Corner Club, and everybody was, "What's going on?"
Vino singing his Christmas song.
Love it.
Okay. Well,
I guess we need some music. Now, what you saying, Liz? I'm listening.
what I was saying is he supposedly was in bed like around 1 or something like that, and he was sleeping, and then like playing video games, and he went to sleep, and then somebody leaked that picture at the Corner Club. God only knows who leaked it, and that's when people were talking, saying, "Wait a minute, is that him? Was he there when he said he was sleeping?" And people talked about it for like a minute, and then it went away. So.
Right.
Weird.
All right.
I just thought, to me, that's a big deal.
Shout out to Jetta from Texas.
Jenna,
Somebody, y'all can see the screen, right?
Did you miss me?
Of course. Of course.
Okay, that's better. All right, cool.
All right. Okay. Just
So
my
good.
opinion, but I thought I saw that coat in backseat of undercover car. What do you mean, Jetta? The coat in the backseat of undercover police car, the one that was on Taylor Avenue? You know about that,
Maddie's
Max?
cool? Wow,
Oh, Maddie's coat. Yeah.
that would be really weird.
Now, I think I heard that before. I'm just not
Yeah.
sure who. I think I heard that before.
Come on up, Jenna.
I don't think it's been verified, but that wouldn't be good. That really wouldn't be good, you know. What if that coat belonged to a police officer? I don't know. It was big, but I don't think it's that big. No,
It looked like it was way too big for her when she was
Yeah,
at
it
the She was when she was walking to the food truck with Jack. You could see her hands like not even like they weren't even in the sleeves.
Yeah.
If you watch that video, and it looked
Yeah.
like it was just a size or two bigger for her. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, I thought it was too. And I think that a lot of people were saying that somebody loaned her the jacket. It was cold out,
Yeah.
and you know her shirt wasn't appropriate for that weather. But Maddie was smashed. I mean,
Yeah.
she
When you're
was standing
smashed, you don't think about how cold it is. You just think, yeah.
But I just wonder if this guy knew one of the survivors. I don't know if because he could have any burner phone, you know, looking on their
Right.
social media. He could have been calling them every day from a burner phone. No.
Yeah. Well, the guy always said at the convenience store when they used to pop into the convenience store, I guess they would buy their vape materials or whatever they're buying. That they would always talk about. She would always say someone was stalking her or following her or something, and he never got a name from her. But I guess he was always concerned by her.
Yeah.
For that.
I remember that. I remember
Yeah.
thinking Jack Showalter when he said that, but that yeah, nobody talked about that very much either. It was basically Mr. G putting it to rest saying there was no stalker. So everybody was
Yeah,
like,
we
okay.
wouldn't have believed it anyway because they weren't going to get
Yeah.
ready to get nobody else to tell that story. You know,
I think I was just to create a diversion. That's what I think. But
something is wrong.
Could be somebody
then-
just
to
wanted to
throw
be on the
everybody
news.
off or something. Yeah. Because that's what it seemed. What I think was going on here, and I'm going to be really brief about it. I just think that they have BK in right now, and that's what they want people to think. But really, that's the diversion that they've created. Meanwhile, what really did take place, they hope that just lies. They just sweep it under the rug.
Right.
And I think it would be swept under the rug if it wasn't like for channels like this that just will
Right.
not let it go because we know something isn't right. And I don't think that they had any idea this was going to explode all over YouTube the way it did or social media. And from day one, we could tell something was wrong.
Yeah,
The
we need
first news
Horatio
report-
King.
Yeah,
I
from the very
agree.
beginning, we were questioning how they weren't
Yeah.
found till noon, and then the city, it's safe, the kids can come back,
Right.
and no shelter in place. We were all like, huh? So
Right,
from the
I'll
very
tell you,
beginning.
if they brought in Horatio Kane and Gail Grissom, this case would have already been solved a year ago. There you go.
Yeah.
Who's that? Who are they?
CSI Miami, CSI.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
animals. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
and I'm serious. Yeah,
Dade County.
Dade
No,
County.
that's-
There you go. Yeah,
I used to live in Dade County, y'all. Yeah.
Miami-Dade. Yeah.
Yeah.
I lived in North Miami Beach and then Hollywood, and then I got out of there.
What are you doing
Yeah,
in
it's changed a
Hollywood?
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I live in Hollywood, Florida. Yeah.
Hollywood. There you go.
You're scared to live in the city limits.
No, what happened was I had
Miami's
three
rough.
little
There's some rough
kids.
parts of Miami. Yeah.
I had 3 young kids, and they couldn't go outside and play during the day, and I didn't want them raised like that. So I took them back to, I guess, the South. The North, if you're in Florida. But we went back to Tennessee. Bye, y'all.
Yeah.
Great barbecue. Great barbecue.
Yeah. Well, I
I love the burnt tips. They're the best. Oh,
well, next when you go to Miami, you have to get Jamaican food.
yeah,
yeah.
that's some good stuff. Yeah.
Now, what in the world were we talking about? I can't stay
We
on
were
topic.
talking. I know, I know. I'm not with it tonight, y'all. I was actually going to sign off just because I'm having a bunch of text messages coming in from my son. I'm trying to juggle, but I'll be listening and
Yeah,
I'll be in
right,
the chat.
right.
Okay.
Okay. All
It was
right,
great
We were just
talking
Liz.
to you.
talking about how long these things take and how everything's been swept under the rug, and pretty much it seems like
Yeah,
they
yeah,
created a
yeah.
diversion with DK. That's where we left off at.
All
Okay.
right.
Good talking to you, Davino. Good talking to you, Miss Joy. I'll see you on chat.
You too, Les. Have a good night. Be safe, all right? Happy holidays.
Right.
Bye.
You too.
You too. Bye.
All right. I guess it's just you and me.
It's just you and me. I got you, babe. Remember Cher, Sonny and Cher.
Yeah, I got
Now,
you, babe. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I love Cher. I don't know about
Yeah. They
the
say
guy.
y'all will pay the rent. Yeah.
Now, I wonder about Brian Kohlberger's medical records because
Mm,
he's telling us one thing about he's telling us one thing about his history. Well, the public is he hasn't told us anything, and I just wondered what his medical records were, probably from about 15 until 25. You know,
hmm
I just wonder because if we could tell pretty much a lot more about him if we had his medical records. We might not have police records, and I'm sure they've combed those, and it could be expunged stuff. But what about his medical records? When these kids are on heroin around here, they nod out a lot, and they go to the emergency room a lot because they can't wake them up, and so
Yeah.
you develop a history of going to the emergency room because the people think you're dead. They can't wake you up. So I was just his criminal history might be clear or nothing to work with, but I would like to see his medical records to see just how bad the problem was back then.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
when the trail of trauma stopped. And that's
Yeah.
that's a record that I would trust. Let's say, they were taking him to the emergency room, 7 or 8 times in a few months in this year or whatever, and then you go to next year and whatever, then it's like now this is probably what was going on in his life. Not what they're telling us, but we could have our own picture of who we're dealing with. Because I don't know. I just got a funny feeling about that part of his past. It's not that people can't stop doing stuff and just go on with their lives. People do outgrow foolishness. I know I had to, but I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I wouldn't mind seeing his medical records. Do you think
Yeah.
we will find?
Yeah. I mean, it is a possibility that he definitely might have known those two girls. But I don't know it from there. That I don't have. I don't know.
Well, maybe
I
he
mean, he
said
could have known. Yeah. I mean,
I don't
you know,
know, and I
probably.
don't know what kind of drugs were in the house. That
I'm
makes a
sure the
difference.
heavy stuff, the heavy stuff. I'm sure it was
Why you
because
say
if
that?
someone really would have, because if someone were to flush, like it, let's say if it was marijuana down the, I mean that's not a big deal versus something like the heavy stuff. Remember, these are college kids, so I mean, smoking that stuff is all right, but when they party, they want the heavy stuff, and
Right.
I just think if that's what that really was. I think whoever flushed whatever, I do believe that's what took place. You're talking some serious amount of money that that product was worth.
Hmm. Now that you
Because if
say
it was,
that,
I think it was marijuana. I just don't think it would have been such a big deal. But that other
right,
stuff, yeah.
right,
Now you're talking the real McCoy, and this is an amateur night. Now you got people waiting on that stuff for delivery or whatever distribution, and if that's not being delivered, they just lost a ton of money, and now there's a problem.
right. Yeah, you're right.
So they're going to go to the source, And whoever was even there, doesn't matter if they weren't a part of it. It doesn't matter. It was still in their vicinity.
Right, right, right.
So that's how
Yeah.
I think how this all transpired. I just like I said, no witnesses
They said
except
fentanyl.
yeah,
Fentanyl. This is what the other two were busted
Yep.
with. Emma Bailey and the beaches was fentanyl.
yep. Which is the worst
Yeah.
one right now. That's like they're trying to put that stuff in everything.
Does fentanyl make you violent?
I don't know. I don't do any of that stuff. But from what I understood it, it's like PC. It's like PCP or whatever stuff like that. It depends. Everybody reacts different to it.
Because I know they laced other drugs with it. That's something that I really should.
I mean, if someone's taking ecstasy or something like that, and that stuff's laced with that, I mean, you're asking. I mean, you don't need that much to wipe out a bunch of people, like to end them right there. I mean, that's some strong, potent stuff.
Right, right. All right.
But if you flush that down, yeah.
Hold on. Let me put it on the stage. All right, Miss Robin, what's going on?
Can I just say one thing? I don't know if I forgot or if I did it, but I have to give a shout out to my friend O'Toole, who helped me immediately when the turkey dropped.
Oh my Lord.
All right, well, let's give a shout
And
out to her.
with the first aid. Okay,
All
I'm going back to chat.
All right.
Put the name in the chat, and I put it on the screen. You heard
Oh,
me,
his name's
Ron?
O'Toole.
Okay.
O'Toole.
All right. I got
It's an
it.
Irish name. There you go.
Okay.
All right.
See you guys later.
O'Toole.
All right. Let me post it on another tab. All right. Hold on just a second.
But I will say this much. I will say this much: that house, from what they said before, that was the nucleus or the center of it all for a distribution, and someone should interfere with something like that as far as product and profit. All hell's going to break loose.
All right, here's the shout out for O'Toole. Now, I don't know. How do you think that Judge trying to make all the camera action go to his YouTube channel?
Well, that's ridiculous. I've never heard of anything like that in my life. That's the first time I've ever heard a judge even doing something like that. I mean, it's. I mean, you want to talk about having a lot of nerve. I mean, that is beyond wow. Like it's like he's making something off his channel on this without a doubt.
It's shout out.
It's a shout out big time.
Yeah. People got mad, and I was like, well, maybe he tried to make sure he gonna get paid. Everybody crying broke, He got.
Oh no, I think that's definitely what it's about. I mean, what else could it be about? They don't pay him enough for something. He has to double. I mean, think about it.
Oh, he feel like he's not getting ready to get his check. That's
well, that's a possibility. I mean, if they're having money problems right now, you never know. He needs to come up with some other lucrative or other residual streams of income. Well, there you go, right? I'm serious. Maybe he'll bring Nancy Grace in and replace whatchamacallit as a prosecutor. You never know. Who knows?
That's bad.
But I mean, I could see that even happen. Who knows?
Just to say you can believe it. I just feel like then he had the nerve to switch it back. Did he switch it back?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I never heard anything like that in my life. This is a big case. I mean, this isn't small potatoes here.
We thought it was a big case. We get played.
You know what's funny? You may be right about that. Because the media can be very, you feel a lot of collusion going on, and that's what I'm saying. Like they can be steering you to a certain direction when really it's the opposite. It's the other way. It's the opposite way. What's really going on?
Right.
Because I think that was mentioned before about that the way the media you know, like that Ashley Banfield or that Nancy Grace, like the things that they're saying, and they're making people believe all this stuff. But I can't say that Ashley Banfield. Oh my God, that thing is just. She is like a talkative peacock or something. She doesn't can't stand her. But
Ashley doing
yeah,
her job. Ashley,
yeah. Well, I'm not a fan of hers. But anyway, but it just seems like they're brainwashing everybody to believe this, and at the same time, it's really the opposite way.
Yeah, that's just how it's turning out because
Oh yeah.
they're telling us. I never heard in my life of somebody saying they can't afford a trial. Just, I mean,
Yeah.
they haven't
I'm telling you,
even
take it
started
to
the trial yet.
Pennsylvania. Take it to
They
Pennsylvania. They'll have no problem screaming for that. Yeah.
haven't even started the trial yet, and they're crying broke and declaring natural disaster, state of emergency.
You know, in a
And the
way, I
trial
don't
is
even know.
nowhere
Yeah.
near the future. So
Yeah.
they're gonna be milking that cow for a long time, and I just hope it's legit, but I know it's not. But I wish it could
$14,000
be
to fly him. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even heard of that one at all. They should just left him in Pennsylvania. What they should have done.
$14,100.
That is ridiculous to fly some not even a known person, you know, across a couple states. Actually, I won't say a couple states across from the East Coast to the West. Yeah, basically, yeah.
Pennsylvania paid for it.
I know because Pennsylvania's one of the wealthiest states out there.
Yeah, they paid for
They
it.
got
And
Pennsylvania's got big bucks.
yeah, they were saying Idaho was supposed to they were supposed to send Idaho a bill, but they didn't.
They're like, we're not going to pay this. We're not paying this. We don't have the money for it.
I hope this doesn't get any more embarrassing.
This trial is bleeding us dry. Yeah, I know. They should bring Mr. BK back to Pennsylvania, and that's where they should have the trial. And that way, there will be no YouTube channel. You actually can watch it on normal television.
Right.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. But
or definitely on Court TV. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, they better come up with enough money to pay everybody that they hired, stacking on all these attorneys like they had big money. Remember, they were saying they were stacking up big money. They put 2 extra attorneys. They gave Brian 2 extra, and then the prosecution started asking for help. They gave them a few. They didn't say a word about budget or, you know, they didn't say anything about money problem. They were just acting like they had it together. And it's
the
been
building fund.
It's been enough coverage of this case for them to make enough money. Their newspapers and stuff like that. I mean, they should have the money.
Yeah, they should take Brian's commissary from all the girls that are sending him money and use it for the trial.
Brian ain't giving Brian sending that money home.
Yeah,
I came back
to keep his family on his side.
Exactly.
They don't realize you got to keep your employees on your side. You got to pay them, and so he
gotta get paid.
It's getting ready to be a mess in Moscow, but at the same time, Brian realized he got to keep his family on his side, or it's over with for him. All one of them got to do is
that's a good title for an article or a good title for the book. It's going to be a mess in Moscow.
Mm-hmm. That's what it need to be.
It's symbolic what happened versus what's really going on. Think about it. It makes sense.
Just name it Messy Moscow. You don't even have to
say it. Messy Moscow.
Just Messy Moscow. Because this is messy. All right, what's up, Les? What you talking about?
I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all had me rolling laughing so hard. I had to tell Mr. Les about how we were talking about Judge and his YouTube channel. And he said he needs to put on his OnlyFans. He said he needs to put on his OnlyFans. So he wanted me to tell you that.
Go, Mr. Les. Go, Mr. Les.
Yeah, Mr. Les.
Mr. Les.
Yeah, he needs to have his robe on. He needs to have his, his John and have his gap in his hand. And
his John Berry, his John Berry slippers on with his robe and his pipe. There you go. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
He let us just strip his identity. I know he is not voting for Mr. Les as the title.
No. I'm sorry. He made me get on and tell y'all that. So that's all I want to say.
Much respect. There you go. There you
All
go.
right,
Right.
bye.
Mr. Les, you
Yeah.
know we're in your corner, man. Now I'm just gonna see
Now
what's
that was
going
the
on
element of
here.
surprise. Yeah.
Right. Well,
She
Mr.
just
Les,
came out of nowhere.
they're getting used to jumping on stage. Remember when nobody would get on but you?
Right.
They're getting used to getting on the stage now. I'm
The
happy
mic's
about
open. Yeah,
it.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm cool about that. All right, let me see if we have any more topics. Let me look on my note list. We talked about that. We talked about that. We already talked about that. False harassment. Okay. I also wanted to bring up when the girl accused Brian Koberger of following her to her car over there in Pullman, and then the
I don't
school
remember that
found
one.
the
Yeah.
school found that there was no foul play, or they didn't charge him, in other words. And so I'm thinking this falls back to DM and BF. You know, the young girls that put him out there like that, they tried to get him in trouble. You know, they might have done that because he wouldn't date him or whatever. Or I'm just saying these young girls are something else. And I mean, if they was falsely accusing him over there at WSU, I mean, if Dylan and Bethany, all the girls at 1122 King Road could have been going over there to WSU. They went everywhere else.
Yeah. And what's also weird about that is, I remember Brian was going to that one bar or something, that place where he actually was blacklisted. They were like with the IDs or something, and I guess he was saying some pretty inappropriate or risque comments to some of the waitresses there, and they wouldn't let him come in because I guess when they would scan the IDs, his information would come up somehow in the system that he's a threat, or someone to watch out for because he's very disrespectful to the staff, or something like that was brought up.
Right, right.
Which
Okay.
that also leads to when he was on a dating website, and the girl they interviewed, she did go on one date with him, and she found him to be very weird. He was asking her strange questions, and she pretended like she had to use the bathroom or something. So she said, "I'm not feeling well," or something like that. And I guess he was by the bathroom door. He was like, "You okay?" She thought that was weird. And when she got
Yeah.
out of there, she never talked to him again. That's just strange behavior.
Do you believe her?
I don't know. That's what I said. I don't know. I mean, that could be. I don't know. This guy. I mean, this guy could be a man of like how many faces? You just don't know.
I
But at the same
mean,
time, it just all could be just an
get that
act.
tablet check. Yeah. I mean, you met somebody online. You let them
Right.
come to your house. You let them know where you live. Somebody you didn't even know. I mean, I
Right.
don't think. I mean, to me, that's not credible what you're saying, because
Right.
you're trying to put it on him that he's so creepy, but you let him in your crib.
Well, that's what I said. I said that too. I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, evidently you must have had a conversation with the guy before you actually physically met, so you knew what you were getting yourself into. She might have just been saying that to make him look more guilty in the case. That could have been a possibility.
Well, I think obviously she was paid to smear
Right.
whatever she had to say. That was her job, to smear, because
Right.
she really didn't say too much. But what she did say didn't make sense, because I wouldn't even tell anybody that I met somebody online and brought them to let them know where I live. Let's more bring them inside, let them know where I live. I'm
Yeah.
just, I'm shocked in the part. When she said that, I clutched my pearls. I was like, girl. Now, what if he was BTK inside, and
Yeah.
you got him in your house and don't nobody even know he's over there? God only knows what his name is on these software, these dating apps and stuff. And so what if he was out in there to choke you out? You just been gone. And
Yeah.
so I can't trust her judgment, because I can't trust what she said, because I just don't, because he'd have no business over there. And then you saying you went in your bathroom and left him in your house to roam around. It just got more and more ridiculous. I don't believe her. I think she did the right thing. This guy I was meeting, she probably slept with him. I'm saying he can't speak up for himself. She probably slept with him. He was at her crib. So this was a chance for her to make some money, and she got her money.
Yeah, they weren't making cookies. You know what I mean?
Right. They could have. She made her money. She knew
Right.
him. She had proof of it from the app, the Tinder app. So she was supposed to get paid because she got lucky. Hey, this guy here is being charged. He's in my Tinder. I can prove it. So I'm glad she started selling her story, getting her money. But I don't believe it happened that way. I believe
Right.
they got together and probably was getting a blast and everything else together. And he hit it and left, and that's what it was. Because she could only come up at one date, so she had
Right.
to make him look bad as the reason why they didn't hit
Right.
he didn't hit it no more. That's all that was. So I
Didn't
don't
hit it
believe,
no more.
no,
Yeah.
no. So I don't know. I skip to the next person because he did have one guy that was saying, I knew this guy, ran with him, I did things with him, and I just don't see him as doing that. He did have one person over there to say that.
Right.
But these young girls could have him in the hot seat.
Right. And just because someone maybe act weird or something like that does not make them a killer. Let's put it that way.
These
I mean,
days,
everybody. Yeah.
if you don't have a bunch of tattoos and you
Right.
get up and you tuck your shirt in, you're creepy. All of a sudden, anybody that just,
Yeah, you're being profiled. That's exactly what it is.
So
Yeah.
creepy. He wasn't too creepy if you let him at your house. I mean, I wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. So
So creepy, you let him. He was just as creepy at the restaurant or under the street light as he was in your apartment. That didn't stop him from coming in. That's how you know he hit it, because she lying. She don't want him to say that. And then why would he be talking about her hips unless he's seen them? He knows about her hips. That's probably the only part of it where she told the truth.
her hips don't lie. There you go.
Yeah, he hit it, but then he didn't call her no more, so she had to account for that. But anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think these two girls could be the reason why he's in the hot seat, Dylan and Bethany, because I mean they just running
Yeah, they
around.
could have framed him. Yeah.
They're just running around, and they're not even under the microscope no more. They've been
Exactly.
chatted up and gone. And if they'll tell these lies in the PCA, saying they saw eyebrows and all of this stuff, agreeing with that 4 to 420 timeline, going along with the police, they're doing
It's
that.
almost like your basic description of any person. Like, oh, I know he had a mask on, he was dressed in black, about 5'10", maybe taller, not muscular but an athletic build, but he had bushy eyebrows. It's like your basic description of somebody, rather than saying he was covered like in blood, or he had a large, sharp, massive knife, or like you would think that would be something that would mention more than anything else.
Right.
Because that's the thing you would be focusing on the most when someone's walking towards your direction, and if he had that snow tunnel vision, whatever they call it, or they can't see from his peripheral vision, which it does exist, but you're gonna think you think that you're never gonna forget is that what he was carrying in his hand, or how much blood was on him, or what the smell from it was. Those are things you just can't get out of your mind.
Right. Okay,
That's what makes no sense. Yeah.
Here's a possible answer to one of our questions.
Mhm.
Robin Latham, you're too high to be violent. It's an opioid. I think this is the answer to how fentanyl doesn't make you violent. Is that the one, Robin? These drugs, do any of them?
Well, if they were on Molly's, they would be very violent.
Really?
Yeah, because that's what it does. Because Molly's make people they want to fight a lot. Like some people like slamming tequila. It's no different. It makes them angry. Molly's does the same thing. So in a college, I mean, what perfect better drug than that, right?
I didn't even know that. And so
Yeah.
Molly's, they could have been on a drug trip.
Yeah.
Did it. And,
if it was PCP, if it was angel dust, if it was PCP, those strobes are firing so much in your brain rapidly, like per second. Yeah, you're gonna have a totally different change in your demeanor.
All right. Now here we have from Jetta from Texas. Maybe the knife broke and he had no weapon to attack DM. What do you think about that?
Well, like I said, like I talked to my buddy about a K-bar knife. I mean, he said the blades, they dull pretty quick. They don't
Right.
last that long for the sharpness. So even if the first person was, I mean, after 57 times, my God, I mean that blade would be pretty dull. So if it goes into the next person, it's not going to be as as effective. You have to use so much force, to get through. I'm not trying to be graphic, but to get through, it's just not the same thing. Yeah.
All right. We got some more talk here. It said about the opioid. Is Molly can either have meth or opiate.
Oh yeah, and if it was meth, you could. That stuff will really make you set in those moods, those mood swings. Or if it was even like heroin. Well, heroin's more. Well, I shouldn't say that because heroin's can be pretty potent too.
Yeah.
Everybody reacts different to these drugs.
I feel like they could have done it if they were like on some psychotic drug or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But then we still have the problem of how did Brian get into all of this? There has to be some piece of the puzzle missing that they're aware of, but they won't tell us.
Yeah, I don't know.
The only thing I can think of, if Brian didn't just, come in with some other people and have something to do with it that way, is if he knew DM and BF, because they're covering for somebody, and I just don't feel that. I mean, they're willing to help convict Brian Kohlberger.
I don't think Brian was ever in the house. I think he might have known who probably did this, or knew this was going to happen. But I just don't think he was there.
I don't think he was there either. But
I think he knew. I think he still knows who did this. He might have already told Ann Taylor that already. But they're just keeping it, they're just trying to keep it as quiet as possible, and maybe to the trial. But yeah, I just don't think he was ever in that house that night.
I don't think he was ever in the house, but at the same time, I feel like if Ann Taylor knew, if he told Ann Taylor what really happened, that she would be able to. She could have went to trial on October the 2nd, because it's one thing if he didn't do it. It's another thing if he didn't do it and he can tell you who did do it. If that was my client, they would have to come clean or just let him out.
Yeah, the prosecution is they're just sitting back and they're saying they have all this and they don't have anything, and just it's just it's back and forth. It's back and forth. It's back and forth. That's all it is. And nothing good is coming out of it.
Right. I just, well, it comes back to bite you when you let your kids, do whatever they want to do. Even in college, they should have known to get over there and, get your book bag and go to class, have fun, but handle your business. That environment there was too rough for it to be majority all girls living there. You wouldn't expect a house that's jumping like that. I would expect guys to live there.
Yeah. I mean, that house was that was nonstop partying, and honestly, I could never get my studies done if that was going on. And there's no way I would put up with that. I'm like, this isn't happening.
No, either. But I would expect a house like that to be full of guys, and then the girls come home.
Exactly. Yeah. That is kind of weird, though. Yeah, I see your point on that. Yeah,
a house full of females, and then you got, possible drug trafficking going on.
Well, I think that was the agreement. That might have been part of the NDA. We will let you live here as long as we use this as the main, the center of it all, all storage and everything else, and you don't have to pay any rent.
Right. Shout out to Miss Cindy Abbott Tendor. Good to see you. Yeah, you late to the party. We getting ready to shut down. See, we closing early tonight.
We're closing early tonight. Wow.
We're not waiting for you.
It's like an hour and a half early or something.
Oh no. We're gonna go to the letter. If you can hang, I can hang.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah, I enjoy talking with you.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
I don't have I don't have a problem with it. I guess I can go to midnight.
Yeah, I'm a night owl anyway, so I'm all good. Like I said, I'm fine. I don't have to be at work tomorrow until 10. I'm good. So
Robin said HT needs sleep to get her tree tomorrow. I sure do. So they won't be picked over, so I can get the
oh,
most beautiful.
I've already put my tree up already. Yeah, I put it up after Thanksgiving.
And then you're gonna say that. And when I said I was gonna do the tree on the first, you're gonna tell me you put it up on the first. That's a long time.
No,
Like
I put up right after Thanksgiving.
well, that's still before me.
That's good.
Well, look how you
You're
did me.
welcome.
I said December the 1st. All right, I see how you are.
Well, no, the only reason why I did that, I wanted to get over with. So
Right.
I was we'll just put up the tree. So I started decorating stuff like that. So it was fun. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That makes me happy. That's what you should do is decorate for the holidays and just look for joy, peace, stress free,
And
and
cook
joyful
and
days.
bake. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. And bake.
I have to make my Italian cookies. Yeah.
Oh Lord have mercy. Now let me tell you something.
Like my
I
snowball coconut ones. Those are so good. Mm.
mm, now see, now is that all you know how to do is bake? Do you know how to cook regular stuff?
Yep. I was raised on cooking. I was raised on baking. My nana would always have me in the kitchen when everybody out in Brooklyn, they were all playing people on the court. I was in the kitchen with knowing to learn how to cook.
Right, right. Good,
She said,
good.
"You need to learn this someday because you need to learn how to cook for a lady and how to dance for a lady." I said, "Okay, well, which one do I need? You need to learn first."
Do you know how to dance?
Yes.
Oh, are you telling me the truth, Davina?
Yeah. My mom taught me like the jitterbug and all that growing up, and like a
Oh,
lot of the dances from the 50s. Yeah, but yeah, I know how to dance too.
oh, so you got some rhythm, is what you're saying.
It's just in my blood. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going past that. I'm just going to leave it at that. Yeah. That's
Okay,
it. Oh, Mercer, that is it. I ain't, don't ask me anything because I ain't touching that one. So,
all right, all right. Let me see. Hello, make it easy.
like
Pick
I
up.
just say that college was fun. I'll leave it at that. All right. So, but yeah.
Yeah. LOL, make it easy. Pick it out and let them deliver. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Well,
you know
yeah,
when you
that's
go
good.
out with someone and then you only one that's dancing on the floor and nobody else is dancing, that's boring, isn't it?
Well, you have to make your own fun. A lot of things can be boring around you, but you can entertain yourself, you know.
Well, yeah, but if you go out with people and you go to a you want to go dance and you're the only one that's really dancing on the floor, what am I even doing here?
If
And
I
like,
have
what are you guys
a partner,
doing? Yeah.
if I have a partner, I wouldn't care if we're the only ones dancing.
Right, but rather than just sitting at the bar all night, I'm like, do you come to dance also? I'm not gonna be sitting at the bar all night because I'm not really a big drinker. I'm not gonna be sitting at the bar and then all doing shots and all that stuff. I want to be on the dance floor. So,
Yeah, but then why would you go somewhere where it's boring like that?
well, that's what I said to him. I'm like, okay, then why are you even here? Because I could have just dropped you off at the bar and I could have just gone dancing myself. Yeah. So,
They want to watch you dance.
they weren't watching me dance. They were too busy doing their shots at the bar.
They were watching.
Maybe I don't know. They have eyes in the. I don't know. Whatever. That's all good.
Yeah, well,
But the dancing today is so different than when I grew up with. It's like night and day.
what about ballroom dancing?
That is awesome. I've never tried stuff. I mean, I've never tried anything like that. That takes a lot of practice
Okay.
and a lot
Well,
of balance. Yeah.
you probably be good at it.
Someone told me I could be. I never really tried it, so I don't know.
Okay.
But I mean I love the salsa. Salsa's fun. As long as you have a partner that can follow and
Right.
everything works out well. If you don't have one that, even if you're a strong leader, they can somewhat follow it, it's okay. But if they can't really follow what you're doing, that can become a disaster.
Well, where else is there to dance besides the bar?
Well, I mean, there's clubs and stuff like that, but it's just like, but the clubs today, you try to go with your own demographic and versus, the younger generation. So, because today they're just the way they dance, like I just crack up out there. They do, let me shake that booty.
Oh my goodness. Your
I
own
crack up with all that stuff. Yeah, it's funny.
Oh my goodness.
And the guys are out there and they think they're the studs on the floor and everything. I'm thinking, man, they're making fools of you. But
Well,
it's a comedy act. It's what it really is.
yeah, they have good comedy shows
But
here.
I think they're so under the influence, and God knows what they're on, because I don't think it would be actually pulling those type of dances or those acts out there on the floor if they were actually sober.
Well,
That's a given.
because a person drinks doesn't mean they don't know what they're doing.
Right. But when they're that 100% inebriated to the point where they can barely even stand up and they're out there trying to do that stuff and they fall over,
Right?
yeah, they have no, and the guys are loving it because, oh, yeah, I got this in the bag. Like you said, I'm going to hit that, you know? That's
Yeah.
usually how that happens, because if they were sober, there's no way in heck they would give them the time of day like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So look at, yeah.
Shout out to Deborah Metzger. Good to see you. Good to see you. What you say,
No, I'm just saying, like, spring break is a good example. On all these girls that things happen to them on spring, my heart goes out to them. But the guys, if these girls weren't drinking like that, there's no way these guys would even, have their fun times, because there's no way those girls would ever be like that.
Yeah.
When they start drinking and start doing these shots and stuff like that, and they get so to that point, it really messes with their system. They figure, okay, it sounds good to me, you know what I mean? And that things happen.
Yeah.
And
Well-
and that's not fair to them either.
Yeah. Well, that's alcohol.
But you make your bed, you lie in it, right? And there you go.
Right? It's a woman. I think if a woman is drinking out in public, which
Right.
is pretty tight, but if you're
Right.
gonna do it, they should have a chaperone
I agree,
or
100%.
someone on a date or whatever,
Yep.
because
And it's all about respect. That's what it is.
because they're putting the drugs in the drinks and stuff still.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yep. You put your drink down, you never pick it up.
Look at Bill Cosby. Look how long he was,
Yeah.
drugging and stuff. And I don't think it was all involuntary either. But,
Yeah, I agree.
But I just, they've been doing it. It's nothing new under the sun. I don't drink alcohol at all, period.
Yeah, and his wife still stood by him through all that. How about that?
Yeah, that's his wife.
Camille still, and he's still with. Yeah, I mean, she's. Well, yeah, 'cause she she's not losing that money.
Her family has money too.
What was that?
Camille
does she?
came from money. Mm-hmm.
I want to know that. Oh,
Yeah, she came from money, and she really was just doing her duty to just stay in the house through the embarrassment.
yeah, I'm sure that was pure embarrassment, torture from all that. Yeah.
Look for some joy, and then she still had a smile on her face.
But he got out of now. What? How did he get released from prison? What? That's it. I don't know how that even. What came about from that? Was there like a break in the case or something? Or
In essence, they would say that number one, he was being tried twice. There was a problem with
double jeopardy? Yeah.
and there was a problem with the agreement that he signed with the attorney before, saying if he told the truth about what happened with that lady Andrea, that he couldn't be prosecuted. And then they got a new prosecutor, in his county, and he broke the agreement and prosecuted him anyway. Bill Cosby had signed and he had paid the girl off a few $100,000, and that was supposed to be the end of it. And then the Supreme Court said that they did have to honor that he said he would tell the truth on record about what happened, whether he gave the aspirin or whatever he had or not. And not only did he have that agreement, he paid the girl off. It's cost of
money.
doing business. That's the cost of doing business for somebody like him. So
Yeah.
I just feel like, well, that's why they let him out. He wasn't going to stay there long, one way or the other. And then they were probably kind of shocked that he was kind of doing his time like a boss, and they're telling jokes and stuff, So they were like, this is no fun. Let's go find somebody that's going to squeal, going to holler.
Right. He's not R. Kelly. There you go.
Yeah. Now, there you go. Somebody's going to just
I believe I can fly. Exactly. That guy is really messed up. I'm surprised he's still alive in there. I'm really shocked.
What? He's in there with his kind. Why
I
would
know, but you know, I mean, and what he's done, I mean, how he just denies everything, denies everything. It's like, okay, you want to live that lie, go right ahead.
Yeah, well,
But
he's right at home where he is. I'm sure it was a little bit of an adjustment as far as the amenities of home.
I'm sure it definitely was an adjustment for his new boyfriends in there.
Yeah, but no, they clicked right away and easily
Yeah,
after he got in there.
yeah,
Socially, he's right at home
yeah.
because all the stuff he was doing with those girls, those
Oh,
irregular
it's underage. It was just horrible. Yeah,
yeah. So we know he's with it with some of the stuff they're doing in there. He's with it. So,
yeah. I'm sure he is.
but that just goes to show when you have money and stuff,
Yeah,
and you think you have friends, and I don't know. It's just sad to me for somebody to reach a level where they have so much money financially or assets and stuff, but
yeah,
they don't have anybody, any friends. They don't really
mhm,
have anybody. They have to
yeah.
pay everybody that's in their lives for every single thing that they get from them. And
Right.
to me, that's sad. That's a sad way to live.
Yeah, it's a shame. They claim it's the root of all evil. So,
Yeah, well, he's lucky that he didn't
well,
contract
it
something.
makes you do things you don't really want to do in a way too. Money, so
Huh?
money makes you do things that you really don't want to do sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, look at Brian Koberger. There's a good example of that.
He's gonna be all right. He seem like he's doing his time, like he can do a dime or a nick. He look like he can do it. He looks
Yeah.
like he can do it to me.
Remember, he's in county right now. That's
Yeah,
a big difference in where if he gets convicted, that's a whole different ball game.
yeah. He should be able to breeze through it in the county if he never been locked up more
In the
than
county, yeah.
an hour
But
or two.
if he goes to maximum or he goes to wherever he's going to go, he's not going to no medium facility. I'll tell you right now, he'll go to
Right,
the maximum. The maximum. Now you're with the real McCoys.
right. But regardless, if you only been in jail for maybe a couple of hours and they let you out on your own recognizance to your
Right.
family, still on the
Right.
phone or some
Right.
petty, okay, that's fine. You probably only spent an hour or two in jail, if that. You probably didn't even dress him out. He was in
Exactly.
prison and then they let him out. But
Right.
at the same time, you know, he he's doing his time like he's been to jail before.
Like a boss.
More than just somebody that's been in jail for an hour or two. Because
Right.
that's very shocking, contrasting. Somebody you can't
Well,
go nowhere.
what baffles me is he's showing up in court in a suit. That is strange. You're going from your jumper, and now you're dressing like like you're freaking John Gotti or something. Forgive me, but I'm just saying. But that's not it. But we get my point. Like
Yeah.
that's just strange to see that.
Why do you say it's strange though? Because they said
Because yeah, if you remember, like Nicholas Cruz in Florida when he killed all those 17 students down in Parkland in Fort Lauderdale. When he had walked in with that AR-15 and just blasted teachers and students. Every
yeah,
time in court, he always had his jumper on. He never ever showed up in a suit.
right.
And I'm thinking to myself, in his case, took a while. I mean, a long time. Think to myself, and this guy's walking in a suit now. Something's up. I mean, it's like almost like a deal's been cut or something. If you think about it.
Well, they say that because he hasn't been actually convicted of a crime, he has the right to wear a suit. And I know when Daryl Brooks or whatever his name is that drove through that parade, when
Yeah.
he was on there, the judge was begging him to come in a suit. Remember?
Yeah, actually, I do remember that. Yeah.
He was taking his clothes off and sitting up, on camera and stuff. The
Right.
judge was begging him to come in a suit, and he was like, "Why?" She said, "So the juror won't see you as just looking at somebody in jail." And he was like, "But I am in jail. Everybody knows I'm in jail." That's what he told the judge.
Well, yeah, he was just trying to paint a better picture for the gentleman himself, but he just didn't get it. He figured, what's the point? I'm still gonna be convicted anyway, so how's that gonna benefit me any?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame, but it's sad, but it's true, unfortunately.
Well, he should be convicted. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
he was
yeah.
just his outlook on life was unbelievable. I just couldn't believe it. His thought processes, but I guess that's it happens.
Right.
But he can wear a suit as long as I think even if you've been until you sentence, you won't need it after that. But you can wear a
Right.
suit. I think he's within his right to wear a suit. But something changed once he got the suit. Something changed in his demeanor. Something.
Yeah. He's like laughing at the court now or something. It's weird.
Yeah. I mean, has he kind of lost his sanity a little bit, slipping to the edge, just not completely over,
I
realizing.
think he's really laid back now, and he's just doesn't care.
I don't know, Davina. I don't know about that. It's something wrong with him. I don't know what it is. Maybe it has nothing to do with being a mass murderer, but at the same time,
Like Ted Bundy. Look at Ted Bundy. I mean, he would show up. He would show up in a suit in court, and then he represented himself.
you're right. Which
And the
I'm
judge was
surprised
impressed.
Brian is not doing.
The judge was impressed. He said, I really liked your demeanor in this courtroom. I would love to have you clergy for me, but it's a shame that, you took the other path.
Right.
So
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know with him, but there's something wrong with that judge. That judge I don't think that judge is able to handle this case.
I don't think they can afford to pay the judge to handle this
I
case.
know. So I'm
Yeah.
saying they better start taking Brian's commissary money and adding it for paying for the trial or something.
The judge
Sure.
was like, been making porn movies.
Something. Dude, did you say porn movies? Oh God. Yeah.
He looked like he been in.
Yeah, and the first movie will be entitled Jailbait. There you go.
I don't want to be crass. I'm sorry, but it's
It's funny.
he just seemed like somebody
That could be a porn star. There you
been doing it. Just been doing it for a while. He probably still in the gym.
Yeah, he's making movies in there with his boys. There you go. Mhm.
Yeah, he's getting ready to put the whole thing on his YouTube.
Never know. Any way to make a buck, right? The American way. I love this country. There you go.
This man, I'm telling you, and the way he wears his glasses and stuff.
Yeah, he's weird. Yeah.
Judge been moonlighting. He's
Judge
moonlighting.
Gonzo or something. Yeah, he's weird.
Yeah, he been up on.
He's not even really assertive. Like, he's so passive in the courtroom. Like, it's just a joke. I mean, like, when a judge goes in there they got to take command. I don't even see any of that going on. It's
Really?
almost like he's letting the prosecution and the defense, like, run the whole thing.
Really? I really
Yeah.
got the opposite from him. I think he is
Really?
pretty tactful and kind of assertive. I think he's just the passive part is where he doesn't really have any power to do anything other than what they're telling him to do.
Or
Maybe.
knowledge. Yeah.
Maybe it's like that. But he told them I've heard him be aggressive a couple of times, not all the time. But I think they already gave him his marching orders. And he's gonna have to do whatever's on the paper, it's non-negotiable.
I just think this case is too big for him. That's what I think.
I think it's too big. Evidently it's too big for the whole state of Idaho.
Yeah.
If they're crying about money already and haven't even started the trial. I mean, what expenses are you running up besides filing paperwork, filing fees, and attorneys? I don't understand that. And so how do they intend to carry this out They've already declared a state of emergency for the county. They have to declare one for the state. Maybe that's what they're working up on.
Maybe.
Because this one is only for the county.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, do you think people are trustworthy?
No.
Why are you saying like
In this generation today, no way. I think this generation today, I mean, my opinion, I mean, there may be some out there, but I just think it's a lot of just games.
All right. Why do you think this generation, you think the last generation was more trustworthy?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Well, I think social media has plays a key part in all this too. I just think that I don't know that people just follow what people are saying and they're not really going on what really is the truth. So they're trying to make them see the truth in their light or way, and they're trying to steer from a different direction. That's just my opinion. I mean, because when I was growing up, you know, you didn't have there wasn't like this cyberbullying going on and stuff like that, and there wasn't any like social media going on. I think the internet came around around '97. I think it started the internet, or I believe it was.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. You could go to a supermarket. You would see the AOL. They had the CDs there, like in those in those racks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today it's like nothing like that. And back then, you know, nobody could gang up on anybody unless it was like maybe like in a school or something like that. But they couldn't actually really do damage to someone, you know, versus like torture them online, you know, today, which they couldn't do back then. So it was more like a hearsay, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I think it's totally changed today. I really do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I just think social media, like, it really can mess with people's minds. It's almost like it's a drug, not in a good way. I mean, look how many suicides there has been with all these kids out there from all this cyberbullying. It's a shame. It really is.
yeah. Well, at the same time, you can't get cyberbullied if you're not online. That's another thing, because I mean, kids can be difficult to raise whether they have a bunch of external issues or not.
Right.
But some of the stuff these kids are doing is because they're allowed to do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it. And the internet and social media and these violent video games and stuff, that might be what they choose, but they might choose, from what we're seeing from this case, they might choose to be out there partying and stuff.
Right.
Or they might, I don't know. You can have different problems. And so you have to be thankful when your kids are not into this and not into that. And
Right.
a lot of my
Right.
kids, a lot of them are locked away in prison all the time.
It's kind of like an scapegoat, what it really is. They use the internet or social media as an scapegoat, or video games as an scapegoat, which is not a bad thing, but it also can form an addiction too at the same time.
Yeah, but you know, the Bible says, train up a child in the way they should go, and when they get old, they will not depart from it. And sometimes they'll sway, but not completely depart, you know, to where they can come back to it. And I agree with that. If you don't get it in by about 6 or 7 years old and you got a monster, you know, they're going to continue to be a monster. It's too late at 17, 16, 15.
Right.
It's too late by then, because these kids are whoever they're going to be at 6, 7 years old.
Right. And you make a great point. Exactly.
They're already whoever they're going to be.
Right.
And so if you don't get it in, you know, do something to, you know, preserve those years, then it's going to be on you. And I hate to say that, but it's going to be on you.
Right.
And you know, if you could pay for private school, my sons went to the private school.
I was in Catholic. Yeah.
I didn't want them to go through the public school system. Number one, I taught in the public school system, and so I already know the Animal House, and I didn't want my kids, you know. And even though it wasn't affordable, I mean, whatever is, and so a lot of things that a lot of these kids are getting to around, you know, my kids didn't even know about that stuff unless they got it off TV or got it off, you know, whatever.
Right.
They didn't even know about it. And so they had a head start on growing up and being a child, actually being a child at a child's age first. But if you can't preserve those first 6 or 7 years without a bunch of traumatic stuff happening to these kids, then you getting exactly what you gave, once they become adults. Sometimes it's worth it to just spend that money or go ahead and move or go ahead and do something that you really don't feel like doing, something that's unnecessary, because it's gonna come out later on, it's gonna come out later on. A lot of these kids, I was shocked to find out that everybody at 1122 Key Road, all the residents are females. And I'm like, you mean to tell me it's females rocking hard like this in this house and got it wide open like this, all females? Where their fathers
They were
at?
wild partiers. I mean, they drank a lot. They drank a lot.
Yeah.
They partied hard. And when you have an open 24/7 like that, like basically called the house a 7-Eleven, there you go.
Yeah.
You come and go as you please. The coffee's on 24/7. Seriously, walk in your fridge. It's like other people live there. They don't even live there, but that's crazy.
Yeah. I just don't understand. How could you see all of this going on, all this traffic coming through this house? Way too many people in there. And these are daughters, because forget the fact that it was homicide. They could have just been raping. That would have been just as bad almost. Well, it's not as brutal, but aren't you scared your daughter might be raped in this house with all these people coming and going and everybody's intoxicated, high? You don't mind that being a risk? I just don't understand that. Maybe I'm getting older, but I just can't. But I couldn't believe it.
If that was my daughter, and I walked up to that house to visit her at college, and I saw, okay, the sliding glass door doesn't lock. You're using its crack. You're using a chair. What the hell is this? What's up with this? I fixed everything before I left.
If I would have walked up to the house and my child was staying there, a daughter,
right,
that would be her last day.
Wait. Let me reiterate. What I'm saying is that if those people weren't there and I didn't know about it, I mean, I still would fix it. But yeah, I'd be like, look, you can't stay here. How are you supposed to study and like pass? And I mean, there's no way you can concentrate and focus on your studies. It's impossible.
I would have just said, pack it up.
Yeah, you're coming home, seriously, because you're asking to be, something's going to happen here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope they're learning something at those universities, because just because they graduate doesn't mean they learned anything.
Yep.
That doesn't
mean most of them don't.
So I hope they learn something.
College teaches you about money. That doesn't teach you how to make money.
Yeah, or how to keep money.
Exactly. Well, that too. Yeah.
Everybody know how to make money. You can get a cup and go on the side of the road. That's making money. I'm just saying, but keeping it, that's the trick.
Yep. Amen.
I have gotten to the place where I really don't even care about money. As long as I get to do what I want to do. And it's childish, My son's like, you living in a different reality, I am.
This whole world's different.
Yeah, I am in a different reality because I really don't care. If it's nothing I want, then I don't need it. I don't need to be spending it. I don't need to be doing it. But then if it's something I want or something I want to do, as long as I can do it, I'm good. It's on demand. As long as I got what I need on demand, I'm good.
Right, but this generation doesn't want to work today. That's the key thing right there. Nobody wants to work.
Well, they don't want to.
That's true though. Work. I see that all the time. They want the money, but they just don't want to put in the effort.
Yeah, because
it's like, okay, well, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add up.
Street hustling, that's work.
Well, at least they're putting in the effort, right?
Yeah, that's work. But so many online jobs now, remote online jobs, where you really don't have to do anything, And if you play your cards right, you really don't have to be running up and down this highway, waiting for traffic to move and all that stuff. Man, I don't need that stress. You know, I
No.
pay my
No, and that's fine. Right. And you taught in school, you're educated. I'm not saying if a person's not educated, they're not a good person. I'm just saying that nobody wants to really, make an effort or hustle today. That seems like been the pattern. Like, like look at all these jobs out there. You want a job, but why don't you go get one? I don't get it.
right, right.
They said the average person right now is like 28 years old and they're still living home with mom and dad, which I have no problems with. But don't expect to be coddled all the way. Go out there and make it on your own. Become more independent. That's all.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Lisa Thompson. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Who the heck is that?
Let me pin the comment on. I think I got up there. Lisa Thompson. I attended university in the 80s in Missouri where my parents visited.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was on it. Everything fixed when he left, including the car. That's
good
exactly
man.
what we're saying.
Yep.
That's true. The truth is the truth.
That's a good parent right there. Right? Exactly.
There's no way in the world. If my dad came and even just got on that street, he didn't even know who it was. He would have been like, I don't think so. Just you don't even have to point out which house. He would have been like, no.
Yep.
Yeah,
when my mom came to my dorm at NYU and all that, she was just like, okay, we need to do some cleaning here. I'm like, okay. I mean, like, I'm like, you don't even live here. She goes, it doesn't matter. And she was like, making a point.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're in college. She goes, and that's where it all starts. She said, you should start learning how to be more responsible now. And then how it leads up, when you get out of here and then you work, you work on building your life and everything. And if you don't start doing this now, it's going to get worse and harder down the line.
Yeah.
Or you can't get caught up or something.
Right. Well, I feel like I agree because you got to start early with you have to give your kids a head start in case what you're teaching them, they don't get it the first time. Right. That's why, my oldest son was very difficult to raise. Very difficult. I mean, some of these kids demand more attention and love and discipline and stuff than the others. And I mean, it was times that I just didn't feel like I could do it. That's how bad it was. But now my oldest son, he became a fireman at 19. And then he was the first one to pass his EMT. He was the first one to pass the other test too, the state.
That's awesome. That's great to hear.
And then he went to EMT. So now he does the fire truck and the EMT, and he's 21.
Respect. That's great.
But he was so hard to raise, and he's hard to get along with. But you see what I'm saying? If I didn't want to be bothered, to be honest with you, it would have been easier for me to just check out mentally from parenting him. Mm-hmm. That's because that's how hard it was.
But see, everything we're talking about, it all makes sense and leads up to this college life what these kids were living. If you didn't have a blueprint, you didn't have a certain guidance, you didn't have a plan of attack, it's going to be like anarchy. And, your partying's great. No, it's like you said, just because you're in college, you're doing well. But when you get out of college, now you're going in the real world. Even though if you do an internship, okay, that's great. But once you leave that school, now you got it. Like someone coming out of the military. What do I do now? I've been in for 20 years. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. Same thing with college. Just because you're in college and you did well, that doesn't mean that you learned everything. So you make a good point. And I think it all ties into like the way they're raised, and the respect they gave to their parents or the respect back. And that's a key thing right there, because when you're isolated from your parents in this world today, and I'm not saying everybody is, it does affect a great deal in the rest of your life.
Yeah, well, you said a mouthful about respect, because these kids don't respect their parents.
Exactly.
For all we know, their parents could have told them, hey, this house right here is not appropriate. Yeah. Maybe they did tell at least one or two parents. Maybe when Xana's dad came down and changed the lock, he told her this right here is not good. This is not. Maybe they did try to tell him, and it didn't do any good.
That's a good point. And I think even the G family, I think that father probably was pretty firm and strict about it and shrewd, because I think I could see him doing something like that. But you know what? Like I said, if they're 18 years old and they can't, they can only, you can lead a horse to water, you just can't make them drink. Well, I
Right.
mean, that's based probably, that's a good point. That probably, that could have happened too.
You can't tell them nothing because
Yeah.
you can't. And then once they say, well, you being mean, you mean, you mean, you mean, that's all you mean, you mean. It's not about being mean.
Right.
It's about setting boundaries, not just for your kids or the people around you that you love, anybody that you come in contact with. So there's an understanding and things can go smoothly and everybody can be at peace with each other. Because look at a lot of the stuff that jumps off these days is people fighting each other because there's no understanding between them. I have to have an understanding with my kids, or if I'm teaching school, we need to get an understanding. You need to understand who I am, and I want to understand who you are, so things can go smoothly. Nobody making any big assumptions or nothing like that. Everything is clear. And
Yep.
but there's a disconnect now because these kids are on the video games. They're on YouTube just like we are. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I mean, it's too much, really. And
yeah, I don't really go on too much, and the only time I really go on this is usually when I'm talking to you, unless if it's like a drum video or something like that. But I was raised in a very strict Italian family, and the rules were harsh growing up, but
right.
it helped me, to where I am today. But yeah, it's I look back, I'm thinking to myself, I hated it, but I see why it is, why it was, but back then, because it benefited me a great deal.
Right. I have the same testimony. I was raised in a Pentecostal church,
Right.
in South Florida,
Right.
and I really am
I
grateful
was
to
an
them.
altar boy and all that. Yeah, I remember all that. Yeah.
I'm so grateful to them for how they did us. I mean, we had to sneak and getting tattoos and all that. We couldn't. They didn't want us to wear pants. The girls, and so I mean, they didn't play that. We had to sneak and pierce our ears or stuff like little.
Yeah, the first time I had my ear pierced, my pop said, "Come on, we're going to the mall." I go, "Why? You're gonna buy your dress?" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "You got your ear pierced." I go, "What's wrong with that?" He goes, "No, that's not acceptable."
Right.
And I can't tell you how many times that I gone to confession. So,
right. Yeah, I know you go out to confession.
Oh my God, I lived in that booth. Let's put it that way.
You need to keep confessing, huh?
Oh my God, because Father Gennaro was like, "Again, you were just here." And he goes, at least you're honest, Davino. I said, "That's true." He goes, "Because when your mother's in here, she tells me everything she does. So this is why if you skip something, I'll let you know." I said, "Yeah, I know." I said, "Well, just keep drinking your vino and and having your wafers, and that'll shut you up."
Yeah. So I feel you on that. Once you are raised like that, it's hard for you to stray too far from it. All my friends, most of my friends I went to school with have tattoos or at least a body piercing or something. And so I'm like, I just could never do it. I mean, a lot of stuff they taught us, I did want to go the other way. It's like, man, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm young.
That's how my Nina was. She was very strict. And she would just say, "Listen, those people you're hanging out with, they're not good people. And the more you hang out with them, you're going to become them. And I'm not going to like you." So once she steered me away from all that, started making her realize what was really going on, because I was blind to see it, things made a lot more sense.
Yeah, but sometimes when your parents or your people tell you that, you don't listen.
Right. Yep. And that happened a couple of times. I'm not going to lie. It did. But I learned the hard way. But
when you get to a place where you either going to let some things overtake you because you shouldn't be doing them anyway, or you're going to go back to the way that you were raised in the way, you end up going back to the way because there's more peace over there.
I look back today.
You don't really fit in. You're not going to fit in. So, I mean, it's no use to me going out when we're going to Houston. Let's go. We're going to pick you up. No, I'm not going over there. because I don't drink alcohol. And when you go to the place, I'm gonna just be sitting there, just looking. I don't. I'm not going because I know I'm not gonna fit in. I know
Right.
y'all. I'm just be a sore thumb. Y'all not gonna tell me to my face, but I'm gonna be so boring. You know.
Right.
I'll be over there watching Bonanza on the TV while everybody at the club.
Oh God. Bonanza. Wow.
Yeah, I'm good with Bonanza and it's mellow. I like mellow stuff. You know, I got
Yeah.
an orange light. In my den. It's like
Good. Whatever works. Whatever works. It's good. Nothing wrong with that.
bar. I don't like confusion. I don't like stress. I don't like drama. I used to though.
I like watching all the old Mesh TV episodes. Those were great.
Yeah, yeah.
Just things like that was just good comedy back then. They didn't curse.
I
There
don't
was
even
nothing.
see those anymore. MASH and stuff. Usually, when you
Yeah.
play the old movies, other
Yeah.
old movies come up. I haven't even seen those.
Yeah, they're on. They're on. Or I'll watch like the old Three's Company. Like that was good comedy back then. Just funny, good comedy.
Oh,
Happy,
Three.
just happy day, just good stuff, huh?
You watching Jack?
Yeah, Jack. No, but
Mr.
just like it was, but they never cursed. I mean, there was innuendos and stuff like that, but it wasn't like it is today, where it's just it's 100% uncensored. It's like we're living in Europe.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
And look at Facebook when Facebook first came out. You could talk to your neighbor right in the next room. Well, that was kind of odd. But today these kids will just sit across from each other on the table and just start texting on the phone. They won't even have a conversation looking at each other in the eyes, which is
you know,
crazy.
that's true. But Facebook is so filthy now. Until
Oh, I know.
I feel like I
That's
need to
my
take
point.
a shower after I log out of Facebook.
That's my point. How did it get to be that point? Because he let it get to be that point. He didn't. He just said, you know what, it's making money, so I don't care. Let it take off and let it. But it Facebook is ruined now. Now what? It was all censored. Now it's no longer censored.
It's ridiculous. I
It
mean,
is.
when you first log in, you're bombarded by things you really don't want to see, and then you can't. You're trying to be friends with anybody because you look on your page next day and they done loaded all kind of fake medicine ads and everything else. So now, like, man, this is just, this is just
It's
filth right
clutter.
here. It's garbage. It's filth, and so I
Yeah.
spend a little time online. I think that's another reason why I don't really get into that either.
Yeah.
It makes me boring because I'm really not into Facebook and Twitter and all that, Instagram and stuff. I don't have time for that.
It's not boring because what it is, it's really corrupted this world with all this, because this whole world today just lives lives online. That's what it really comes out to be.
But that's what you were saying before about the kids these days.
Yeah.
Different. They see a lot more than we see because they can get online and instantly see all the filth that I can see.
Yep.
And they can order stuff off the dark web. I know my youngest son, packages come in the mail all the time. All the time. And I'm like, what is that? What is that? I look on the labels on like eBay, I'm not sure what something would look like on the dark web, but I'm just saying all these packages,
Well, the dark web's that's interesting.
yeah, he's suspect anyway as far as hustling. So I just feel like it's packages.
That are discreet. Yeah,
they can order it. They don't have to go get a dope man and give them a bomb anymore. They can order it at home. You understand what I'm saying?
Right, but they don't label it. It's discreet.
Well, maybe that's why I can't catch nothing
That's why, because that's a new thing with Amazon or anything like that. They won't actually tell you physically what is in that package on the label.
Well, I hate to start opening people's mail, but I mean,
I know
that's a lot of packages, and I'm like, what?
Well, Santa Claus is coming early.
I don't want to tell too much of his business, but yeah, he's good.
No, I got it. It's all good. I got it.
That's the love of my life right there. Oh my goodness.
Well, you know what? I'm sure it can't. Yeah, it can't be that bad. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna just stop right there with that. But I'm blessed. I'm blessed not to have to worry too much. I just don't think I would expect any of that from my people.
Right.
But never say never, because I be on the lookout like a hound dog. Because I know
how much
out here, and I just don't want it around me. Period. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, it changes. It changes. It's kind of like you're taking someone like a vampire to a good person, and it just sucks all the good energy right out of you. It's no different.
That anime have them doing freaky stuff too.
Oh God, they still have that anime stuff. Oh jeez,
Yep.
that's funny.
They love it. They love it at
Yeah,
that
well,
Catholic school, honey.
no thanks. It's some weird stuff on there. It's weird from all these, you orient like China and a lot of it comes from China or Japan. I mean, it's like whoa,
Imagine Pentecostal Catholic anime.
No, that doesn't work.
And
That
Tupac
clash is
all
right there.
mixed up the same person.
That's like mixing oil and water. It
Well-
doesn't work.
Well, you have to see it to believe it.
Yep.
You have to see it to believe it because it actually came out pretty good.
Oh wow.
You have to see it to believe it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure anything is possible. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's shocking. It's shocking. It was shocking. But you'd be surprised what a mix. If you creative enough,
Hmm.
that's how I get my best colors. Like when I'm making a video,
Hmm.
my best colors come by accident when I lay something on top of something else
Interesting.
and I see how it goes. It's I'm like, dang, that looks nice. It was by accident.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
That's why you saying it like that.
No, because that's a good thing. Like like you're like, oh wow, I never thought this could possibly work, or wow, I guess this could work. You weren't planning on like trying to come up with those colors. It just came up by accident. That's a cool thing.
Or you can say it like this: all things work. No matter how you mix it, it works.
No,
just
I don't know about that.
It's a matter of
That's
it's
another
subjective.
topic, but yeah.
It's subjective. I admit that, but all things work. All things
I
work.
guess in different perspectives, I guess it could, yeah.
It's all a part of this world. It's nothing sticking out that needs to be ejected. Everything's still cohabitating together.
Yeah.
So everything must mix. I
Yeah.
didn't realize the commonality between people, places, and things until I started teaching. Let's see, which one was it? Algebra 1, when we were going over the different sequences, and the one in nature, the Fibonacci sequence.
Right. Sure.
How it's in flowers and in the snail shell and everything.
Yeah.
I never connected those numbers and that design to so many different things. And once I saw that, I started noticing other things in nature because I was paying attention now because I didn't know how I had missed that as much time as I spent outside as a child, at the beach and stuff. How could I miss this,
Yeah.
Now I look at different patterns in nature and in people, and to me, all of it matches.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point.
You're not listening to me. You sleepy?
Yes, I am.
Are you sleepy?
No, I was just filling up the water bowl for one of my corgis.
Right.
Because they come first. There you go. There you go. Ajam. All right. There you go.
Late. Why they eating so late?
No, he's drinking water.
Oh yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah, I always make sure that water bowl is filled for them at nighttime so they don't dehydrate themselves.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
That's important. You have to make sure your pets don't dehydrate. He drinks like a bear from a river. My God, do you hear him?
Right. I hear.
He's funny as hell.
You're right, Cindy. She is a good friend too. I was reading something there. No, but all things go together. And
yeah, I guess they do. Yeah.
If it wasn't like that, then people wouldn't have to keep building things to divide and keep things separated.
Opposites attract, yeah.
I mean, if all things didn't just naturally go together, they wouldn't have to. We wouldn't have to build divisions, walls,
Absolutely.
boundaries, labels. I mean, all of that is to separate things. It all
Hmm.
started as one thing together. I mean, is that making sense? Well, I'm tripping.
Yeah, it is makes it. And I had a quick question, not to change the subject. What do your sons think about this case? Have they ever given you their input on it?
Well, the first instinct was that he did it, and then the second instinct was, this case is a mess and it's corrupt. That's where they stop because they're not interested in it at all.
Well,
I
you know
mean,
what? To tell you the truth, it's getting to that point where that's where it's kind of where it's heading.
right,
Um,
right.
Not to be disrespectful, but I've never seen anything like it in my life. I mean,
Mhm.
it just doesn't add up. And I just think there is a lot of collusion here. There's definitely a lot of corruption. I mean, there's a lot going on, and they are hiding so much, beyond hiding so much, that we might not ever know really what really happened in that house.
You think so? Well,
That's a strong possibility.
that's what they want to happen, but
Exactly.
they don't have the final say.
But you're
God is
talking
still
about
on
a
the throne.
trial,
Well,
and there's
God
no
is
money for this
still on the throne.
trial. Yeah.
And I think that might be the beginning and the end of them trying to cover up because you got to
Yeah.
have money to cover stuff up.
Yeah. Eventually, there's going to be something that's going to start coming up, through the ground. But when that's going to be, I don't know. It might be a year from now. Who knows? But those souls are not rested yet. I can tell you that much.
I know that I knew they were gonna come out with something before they're supposed to turn in that DNA stuff tomorrow. December the 1st is due tomorrow. All of the DNA evidence.
I'll
And
look for
so
the update. Yeah.
I'm gonna see if they turn it in because we're getting ready to get another fantastic story. Probably, I might make a video on that once they make the announcement. But I just know
There
it's
you
gonna
go.
be some foolishness. It's gonna be some foolishness. They're supposed to turn it in to the judge, and he's supposed to review it himself, even though he already said he has no clue when it comes to DNA.
You should be looking at it then.
But it's for him to review. He's going to review it. I mean, he's not supposed to be doing that. They're supposed to turn that over to
Yeah,
Andy.
he's not qualified to look at that. Yeah.
They're supposed to turn it over to who asked for it, the defense
Yeah.
attorney. So that's another thing. They're doing whatever they want to do. It's useless anyway. It's a waste of time. You only have a partial sample of the touch DNA, and you claiming, that it was on the snap, which was brass, and we know that corrodes DNA. You
Yeah, but
left
it ties back to the father. It doesn't even tie back to him. That's what's messed up.
say that again.
The DNA tied back to the father. It never tied
Oh,
back to. It never tied back to BK.
I don't even believe that either, or that it tied back to the father. I don't believe it. They had to have
Yeah.
some connection to build a tree, because that's where the lie started with it being Brian, is the family tree. So
Yeah.
I don't even believe they got the father's DNA. I really don't. I don't believe it
What I'm saying, this all could have been a plant. You never know.
because they left those kids in the house too long with the touch DNA. It says it in that declaration. It's only a partial sample. They don't even have a full sample. And then you're saying you got the sample off of brass. So we know it's trash. I could just, from right there, if I was a juror, I would disregard the DNA evidence. Once somebody tells me, it's only a partial sample, and then you say you found it on the snap, and then
Yeah.
this person from the university comes and tells, he's testifying how brass immediately starts to corrode the touch DNA,
Yeah.
inhibitory relationship or whatever it was. I mean, and then I find out that y'all left those kids in the house for hours before the coroner even showed up. I would totally disregard the DNA evidence after I heard those three things.
Yeah.
They would, if they try to argue it and convict, based on if they wanted to argue or convict
Amen.
based on DNA, I wouldn't even listen to them. I would tell them, I'm sorry, I'm gonna hang the jury because DNA evidence is trash. And if y'all want to convict him, y'all need to come up with more than that. That would be my stance at this point.
Right now, it's like they just hit a massive wall, and then nobody wants to make the attempt of climbing over that wall.
They'll make it fit. They'll let you know that the way they're doing this is not right. It's not
Well,
right.
they're just dragging it out. They're just dragging this case on deliberately. It's what they're doing.
You think they're dragging it on, or they just
Yes.
lost mix?
I think they're dragging this thing on.
And
I think they're dragging it and they're stalling it. It's what they're doing.
I guess they get ready to ask for money from the federal government. I mean, don't they have to if they can't afford the trial? How does that work?
Well, I never even heard of that in my life, where they actually have to go to the federal government and ask for funds. That's ridiculous. Don't make any sense.
Well, the state of emergency is only for Latah County.
Yeah,
So,
but it should be taking place in Pennsylvania, where it originated from in the first place.
yeah, but they're not doing that.
But you think about it, because they've gained nothing from having him out back in Moscow right now. If this was in Pennsylvania, I bet you this trial would have already taken place.
Well, they can't be dirty with him in Pennsylvania. They have to get the
Right.
Pennsylvania police to do the dirt. So they got to have him right there, in Moscow, where they can do the dirt to him.
Of course.
Around,
Yeah.
They got to do it. But I never heard of, I don't know, maybe they will have to declare a state of emergency on the state level, because they already done sucked the money out of other accounts. It was saying in that article where stuff that's been allocated for other things can be redirected. Basically, they probably already redirected it.
You're going to tell me that the governor of Idaho is going to actually make an announcement on TV and declare that state of emergency? I mean, no, I'm seriously. They do with hurricanes. I'm thinking they might say, "Listen, we're declaring Idaho a state of emergency because with this trial." I mean, who the heck knows? But I'm just saying. I don't think that'd be the case, but I never heard of anyone going to the federal government for funds for a trial. That's ridiculous. I mean, look at Gotti. I mean, and that was in New York and all that, and they had all the funds in the world. You see my point. Like they had the money was there.
Right.
I mean, if your school has that much money as you claim it does, there should be no whatsoever any objections about funds.
Right. And I believe the money was there at the start, but then tapped it dry. It's no more milk.
But where'd it go? Well, that's the question. Where did it go? Back in the well? I mean, where'd it go?
They split that. Everybody got some money in their pockets. They get ready to go on holiday break.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Evidence.
Yeah, then they're going to come back and say, okay, now the well has been bled dry. We need more funds.
Yeah, the well.
Because what could happen, this could just turn into a mistrial.
That's what they're doing right now. What you're saying they're going to do, that's what they're doing right now.
Well, yeah. But it basically, then that's good for Brian. So.
Yeah, that's good for him because.
Yeah, real good for Brian. Come on.
Because
he may be exonerated from this whole thing because of their stupidity.
Yeah, he might. Maybe that's why he's smiling and yawning in court.
Yeah, he's like, you people have no clue about how a dollar works.
Yeah, he's probably saying this is Mayberry,
Yeah, maybe.
There's no way they're gonna be able to do this if I don't have it.
Hey, sorry about that. Man, be nice. Sorry about that.
They sound dangerous.
No, they're not. He's just lying on my lap right now like a big stuffed bear. And when he heard Mayberry or something, and I said Mayberry Bear, and he just started barking.
Lord, he don't even like the case. The dog don't.
No, he doesn't. Do you like the case? Do you like the case? I guess you don't. Okay.
Wow, so, he's talking back to you.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. Yeah, he just and no disrespect to the victims and the families, but this case has gotten just. I'm not trying to be mean here. Boring, actually. Now it's become boring because you think that something would have really came out of this by now. From all the social media, the TikTok, the the Facebook and everything else going on. I mean, you think that something would have finally came out that would have, you know, added a lot more to this case than than what's already there now. It's just really sad. It really is.
It really is a sad situation, and it's
It
going to
is.
get even more sloppy. But I'm gonna keep the oil lamp burning. I'm gonna keep the candle burning, and I'm gonna just
You
stay on
go.
because those kids deserve justice and they
They
deserve
did.
coverage. And I don't care how much they try to change the scenery from the victims to their financial situation. The fact remains, regardless of who did what and the motive and the cause of the crime, it's still a sad situation. And you don't just walk away from a case when it gets boring. If you want to see justice, then you will run it to the end. And so that's what I want to do. But I
Yeah,
want
no,
to
I know.
see
I know.
justice for somebody. I want to see somebody lying exposed. I want to see somebody do something about this.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see. Just keep praying because, and if Brian been slick pulling the wool over our eyes, I want to see him, up there pull the covers over him from over him. And then if he had nothing to do with it and it's the cops or whatever, I want to know who did it. I want to see what they plan to do about it. Don't try to act like you can't afford the trial and just shut everything down, and just leave it like that, a big mess. But they might do it. They might do it. They might
They
say,
shut the trial down, and that's a big benefit for Brian.
yeah, they might say, well, we can't convict him. He's not, we've been pushing a plea deal for weeks,
Then they're
months.
gonna let him go. Yeah.
We might have to shut this down, find a way to shut this down because it's draining us. We've stolen so much of the, money out of the funds, the
Yeah.
different funds. After a while, when people in Idaho want to, some of these elderly people, they need their electricity and stuff during the winter months, and they come to the government, the local governments for help. How they gonna help them pay their electric and oil or gas or whatever they use when people have an emergency and they sucked up all the money? They're gonna wait for the church to do it, for the people to call the church.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
that
You make a good point. Yeah.
they're gonna depend on the churches, and the churches is steady trying to, pass out sacks of food and help. But that's
Yeah.
the government's job because they get money from the federal government to do stuff like that. It's not just all their whatever the state can do. Come on now.
Yeah. It just has everything to do with the university. That's the one who should be funding this trial, not the federal government. And that's just
Yeah,
ridiculous.
University of Idaho should be paying for it, and they got the money for it. If old boy is making half a meal a year, getting 5% raises, well,
Yeah,
you don't have a state
absolutely.
of emergency. You don't have a state of emergency. You paying one person in your city a half a meal a year,
Yeah.
and they just built a brand new police station. You don't have that many issues that you can't pay
Right.
for your own murder trial. You're gonna have
Right.
to. You're gonna have to.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm gonna sign off for tonight. It's always a pleasure speaking with you.
All right, and I'm going to sign off also. And it's also a pleasure speaking with you,
As
Davina.
always. Yes, always. So it'll be interesting to see what happens after tomorrow. We might have a new topic to discuss next Thursday.
Yeah, but in the meantime, I'm working on part 2 of The Sins of Moscow,
Yeah.
episode 2. Yeah, I like it. So there we go.
Yeah, it just keeps building and building and building, and that's what's good about it. So,
All right, well, it was nice speaking to you, sir. And
as
thank you
always,
so
and
much.
you have a blessed night. Okay.
You too. All
Thank
right.
you so much.
And you guys in the chat, thank you so much for coming on stage and giving your 2 cents and contributing to the conversation. And also, let's see. A couple people came in that I don't know, but I'll probably give you guys a welcome or something in the community page. All right. Glad I spoke with you all. Okay. Good night. Good night. Much love. Much love. True. 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 All right. Night night, Robin. Good to see you, Lisa Thompson, Cindy Abbott. All right. I'll see you guys in the next video, I guess. All right. I'm signing out and much love.